story begins here, in Chicopee, Massachusetts. A small city nestled alongside the Connecticut River. Chicopee is a suburb of Springfield, Mass. It's about 90 miles outside of Boston. Here on bustling Memorial Drive is this busy Friendly's restaurant. It's a place for ice cream celebrations and familiar faces. One of those familiar faces, 20-year-old Amanda Plass. More than a waitress, really. Those who knew her said she was the heart of this place.
Amanda really connected with the customers there.
She had a child that used to come in and only liked red gummy bears on his sundae, so she made his sundae with just the red gummy bears.
That's just how Amanda was. Everybody loved her.
We would come here and we would ask for her because she just brightened our day. She was just a sweetheart.
It was a warm evening in August, right around 5 o'clock, and Malene Holmes sat right here in this Friendly's, waiting for Amanda. Malene was a customer, and she and Amanda had become friends. They were supposed to meet right before Amanda's shift for dinner.
She used to come here and have dinner with us before she'd start her shift. We had been waiting for her, and then she didn't show. Everybody was concerned. They were trying to call her, and there was no response. Everybody's like, where is she? It was just very strange. It was very, very strange.
Even more strange was when minutes turned to hours, and the ever-reliable Amanda Plass never arrived for her shift at Friendly's. Not long after Amanda fails to show up for work, a frantic 911 call comes into the Chicopee Police Department. The caller is a 22-year-old named Seth Green. And Seth tells dispatchers that when he went to visit his girlfriend Amanda, he stepped into a scene of unimaginable horror.
She was laying on the kitchen floor right when I opened the door. Just in a pool of blood, stabbed to death. Called 911. I was still holding her when I called 911. I mean, there was no doubt that she was already dead. It wasn't even like she needs help. It was she's dead. I mean, she was throat was slit. Multiple stab wounds to the chest, right in the heart.
I was the on-call state police detective for that particular day. I got a call to say that there was a homicide occurred in Chicopee.
Ronald Gibbons, who at the time was a detective with the Massachusetts State Police, raced to the crime scene. What's the scene like? You arrive, what are you taking in?
This is the building itself. The Chicopee police officers had cordoned off this area, had put the yellow tape around it to block anyone from going to the back.
When the first detectives arrived at the scene, Lieutenant Gibbons says Seth was in distress and sitting on the back porch.
He was frantic, he was erratic, he was just a range of emotions.
What was that like for you, to see her on that floor?
It's just something that I would never wish upon anybody. My worst enemy, I wouldn't want to have to go through that. Honestly, it's just horrible.
When you walk in this apartment, you see Amanda Plass lying there on the floor. Describe the position she was in and what you're taking in as you see her.
She's like spread out on her back, and there's blood all around her.
Death by stabbing is very often a personal attack on behalf of the perpetrator. You have to be up on top of somebody when you plunge that knife into them.
It was almost like Amanda talking from the grave. Is it a crime of passion? Is it a crime of revenge? There's a lot of slashes here. This was very violent. It looked like she fought.
I knelt down right next to her. I wanted to, imagine or think that she was, breathing or something. And I tried to give her CPR, blow into her mouth, and it literally blew out of her. She was pretty butchered up, and it's just horrible.
She's lying on the floor in a pool of blood with multiple wounds, partially dressed, and very dead.
It's around the same time that Amanda's sister Amy Lee receives an unexpected visit from her aunt.
And she told me, you know, your sister's dead. Your sister's been murdered. And I remember just crying instantly. I remember screaming. And my aunt is like, we need to find out who did this. We need to find out right now. And as we're en route to go tell her, my mom's calling me. And she's saying, Amy, what's going on? My mom's begging me to tell her on the phone what's wrong.
So I went outside, and there were the Chicopee detectives and the state, my daughter, my husband, to let me know that she had been stabbed to death.
So in real time, you're learning that your daughter was stabbed to death. How difficult is it to process all of this that's going on in that moment?
Oh my gosh, how am I going to bury this kid? Or what, 19, 20-year-old has a life insurance policy. Where do you get the money? Just that whole process of not knowing how to even comprehend what had happened, but then still knowing that, okay, I need to put my child to rest.
It's something you can never be prepared for.
No, never in a million years.
You see your friend and they're happy, they're vibrant, they're excited for life, and then all of a sudden, they're gone. And it just didn't make sense. It still doesn't make sense.
I had this heavy gut feeling that something really bad was gonna happen to Amanda. I was like, oh my God, did I manifest this? Like, did I put that thought out there and it came true?
Nobody could understand why it happened because Amanda was just friends with everybody. I don't remember Amanda having any enemies.
Every single person in her life was a suspect. Everybody.
Any detective or criminologist is going to tell you that our money is on Seth Green, the most recent boyfriend.
My captain is now saying, head to the station. They got a possible suspect. He's down at the station. They're going to interview him. Need you there right now. It's a race against time.
I think my knife might have been at her house.
So you have a knife at her house? That knife was not found. Seth was the perfect suspect.
To truly understand Amanda Plass, all you needed to do was look into her eyes.
You can see her soul, the love that she had for everybody and anybody.
Her eyes changed colors. When she was really happy, her eyes would literally turn green.
What stands out to you when you think about her?
Her spirit, yeah, her energy.
Amanda grew up in Chicopee, once a bustling mill town, now a quiet working-class community known for the rambling Chicopee River.
Chicopee's a small place. Everybody knows everybody.
The neighborhood itself is a very close-knit neighborhood. The houses are pretty adjacent to each other. Very urban residential neighborhood.
How often does it happen that you have a random murder?
A lot of times you have a gang murder, and this was different because this is truly a victim in her own apartment, a young girl, 20 years old, brutally murdered.
Amanda was the middle child, raised by her mom, Michelle. She attended a local high school, but left before graduating and instead earned her GED.
She was a hippie child. I often find her barefooted outside, painting or taking pictures of the neighbor's dog, playing her guitar.
Growing up, we were like best friends. My mom used to dress us up like we were twins. My mom was a single mother for most of our childhood, and we moved around a lot.
I've always raised my children to be, independent, and you get what you earn.
I used to call Amanda the bigger sister. She had a job, an apartment. Her work ethic was nonstop. Amanda was always dancing around and painting and splashing colors everywhere.
Anything that had to do with being artsy, she would make feather earrings.
When you see a sunflower, you think of Amanda. It became her trademark. When she found the music festival scene, that really is where she started to blossom. She's in her early 20s, and she just found herself right before she passed.
A butterfly coming out of a cocoon. Just the brightness. That was her.
On that tragic Friday in Chicopee, Amanda's boyfriend Seth, whom she had only been dating for about a week, tells police he stopped by Amanda's apartment and immediately noticed a broken window.
I pounded on the door for a minute. And then did you try going to her apartment door? Yeah, turn the handle and the knots.
I went to her door and let myself in, and she was laid on the floor in a pool of blood.
She got up immediately and called. You have the right to remain silent. Do you understand that?
Seth had only been dating Amanda for the week.
But he said he had moved his things in, and it was a serious relationship.
Right, been hanging out every single day for a week now. Grounds.
And the relationship was moving fast, right?
Yeah, I was moving fast. She had that go-getter attitude and just a fun, caring person.
What were you doing for a living at the time?
I'm a carpenter, but roofing is where the money's at. So roofing was my main go-to usually for the construction field.
Seth tells police he spent the night at Amanda's, left for work around 9 a.m., and returned to find her dead. He also tells investigators he was working on a roof that day and left the job site multiple times to purchase supplies.
What time did you leave to get the materials? I had left like 3 times. It was later in the day, 3 to 4. Like 3 to 4.
Seth says he and Amanda had kind of fallen into a routine. Every day after he finished working, Seth would drive Amanda to her job at Friendly's. However, the day she was murdered, Seth tells detectives that routine was broken because he had to work late.
He was there every day that week to take her to work, but this is the one day that he had to work late. That kind of was suspicious to us.
How important was Seth's timeline?
His timeline is very important. He leaves the job site several times, and he's on his own. So where exactly did he go, or what exactly did he do?
I texted her, I said, where are you? She didn't answer.
My first thought was like, oh, she stayed home. Maybe she couldn't find a ride.
So you weren't like concerned or anything at that point?
No, not at all. I drove her straight to her house, expecting to see her there, waiting for me,
Oh my God, you know. She deserves so much. I can give it all to her.
These range of emotions does not add up. He's rising to the occasion of being a suspect.
The interrogators zone in immediately on the fact that Seth Green is a carpenter and a roofer. In other words, he uses sharp objects and utility knives all the time.
Then comes a chilling detail that ratchets up the suspicion on Seth. He tells detectives the knife he used at work, the sharp M-Tech blade, has gone missing.
But I think my knife might have been at her house.
So you have a knife at her house?
Yeah, I think it might be at her house. It might be in my car as well, I'm not sure.
He was missing his M-Tech knife that he didn't take to work that day. That knife was not found. Seth was the perfect suspect.
My girlfriend just got murdered and you're blaming me for it. Dude, are you kidding me?
And now police want to know if the telltale piece of evidence left behind at the crime scene will implicate or exonerate Seth Green. Michelle Penna will never forget the final text message she received from her daughter Amanda.
She sent me a text and said, "Mom, can you give me a ride to work?" And I said, "I can't." And she said, okay, she'd find a ride.
No one could have imagined that just hours later, 20-year-old Amanda Plass would be gone forever.
Homicides happen all the time, but when it happens to you, I would have never thought that my sister was going to be murdered.
What you stumbled upon when you went to Amanda's house, how does that compare to a lot of other homicides you've covered?
In this particular case, there's droplets of blood all around the room, and that's indicative that this was a very, very brutal and harsh fight. My theory is that the attacker came through the back door. When we found Amanda, she's actually in her work pants, her work clothes. There was no evidence of a sexual assault.
She was found on the kitchen floor, and they do believe she was killed there. So not in a bedroom, not in the living room, and that suggests perhaps an element of surprise.
She just didn't lay down and die. She actually fought back. And when she fought back, underneath her fingernails was possibly DNA, and we're gonna have to match this DNA to someone.
The first person investigators test? Amanda's boyfriend, Seth Green.
I'm going to do a couple tests. We're just going to swipe the inside of your cheek, okay?
The interesting thing, we stepped out of the room, but we still observed him. And he'd cry a little bit and then just wonder why he was there.
I can't believe that. So happy with her. What happened, Gravely?
He had only been dating her for a week, and he was so caught up that this is the best thing that ever happened to his life.
But detectives also receive information that points to someone other than Seth. Amanda had recently told her family that someone had been sneaking into her apartment.
She said, my apartment got broken into again. And I said, well, what did they take? You need to call the police. And she says, no, Mom, all they took was a glass bowl, like a marijuana bowl. I said, well, you still need to call the police. And she said, no, what am I gonna do, tell them my pot got stolen?
Amanda's friends say she suspected an unidentified male was watching her.
She saw him peeking in her back window of her apartment. The window is actually broken, and we surmise that the person possibly had tried to make it look like a break-in. So on that same window, you end up with a palm print. If we can identify the palm print, we can also identify the person that would have been there that particular day.
But among the most important piece of evidence found at the crime scene, a bloody sneaker print.
That footprint showed a sneaker print in blood. You can actually see the Nike impression in that footprint. We had it measured, we had it analyzed. That was very important because of a smaller shoe, maybe a female, maybe a male. We were looking for a Nike size 7.5 Air Max shoe.
I remember a couple days after she was murdered, everybody had went to her apartment in Chicopee Center and just held a memorial.
The whole front of her building was just a sea of sunflowers.
That was a really intense, emotional time to be in front of the apartment of where she was murdered and just comforting each other, just shocked, not understanding how or why.
And then, a few days after Amanda's murder, there was a funeral.
I just remember it just being beautiful and intense and very heartbreaking. And a lot of sunflowers.
Meanwhile, police aren't giving up on the idea of Amanda's boyfriend Seth as a suspect. Within hours of Amanda's murder, they even go as far as to ask him for the shoes on his feet.
Would you give us permission to look at your shoes?
Yeah, you can take them. Let me take them off now.
Just put up.
Finally, after almost 15 grueling hours, investigators reach a conclusion. Seth Green is not their killer.
His DNA did not match. His shoe print didn't match. His boots were a size 12. It was too large to be the person at the scene.
Clearly, there's some other shoes there that were not mine, and that's the thing that got me released, honestly.
What did that moment feel like for you?
Well, it's definitely a big relief, you know, honestly. Yeah, when they were walking me out was definitely in a moment, like, you know, finally, like I told you guys a million times, it wasn't me.
What is that like, to go through that, to experience the loss and then to have to face that questioning?
I mean, it's unbearable, honestly. It's like, I just called you guys, like, you know, why are you, you know, trying to blame me for this? Like, you know, I love this girl.
Seth is officially cleared as a suspect and tells cops there's someone else they should be looking at.
She said she had a lot of bad relationships in the past.
Detectives also want to learn about an ex-boyfriend who was allegedly upset after seeing a public display of affection between Seth and Amanda at Friendly's.
While she was working, he had showed up at work and they started making out.
And detectives say that ex's reaction wasn't very friendly at all. So at the very least, you had to consider that he could have had something to do with this.
Very much so. A motive of revenge is on our mind.
They discovered that before Seth, Amanda had been seeing a man named Jesse.
He was a boyfriend of Amanda, basically a week before Seth was. And he also worked at Friendly's.
So at the very least, you had to consider that he could have had something to do with this.
Very much so. Jesse wanted a serious relationship, Amanda didn't. And she finds a new boyfriend.
Police learn of an alleged incident at Friendly's involving Jesse and Amanda's new boyfriend, Seth, that raises alarm bells for authorities.
Friday was the murder. Thursday night, when Jesse's working, Seth shows up at the Friendly's.
Amanda's boss at Friendly's tells police Seth came in and kissed Amanda openly. Jesse saw it, and he looked uncomfortable afterwards. Jesse asked to go home a little later.
Jesse moves up the chain as a very likely suspect. A motive of revenge is on our mind about Jesse.
I want to play some of your interrogation from speaking to Jesse.
So you both worked at Friendly's on that Thursday, right?
Correct.
You left
wondering what was going on. I was just pissed that she wouldn't tell me.
And this is the time that she's now with Seth?
I don't know if I knew about it yet, but she'd probably talk, you know, then.
At this point, you're trying to figure out who might have been involved. How does this information fit into your investigation?
We're looking at the fact of who could have done this, who was angry at her. Because as we look at the scene, there's a lot of blood, there's a lot of anger going on. It's not a one and done out the door.
Can we also look at your phone? What'd you do with those text messages that you texted her?
You delete them all?
My texts are deleted.
Because you felt they were uncomfortable, or?
First of all, I didn't want to look at any conversation of me and her, just because it made me sad to even think about her.
Why is that?
Because she's murdered.
So you deleted them after you found out she was killed?
I didn't even want to have to look at them. Everything reminds me of her.
As an investigator, what do you make of that?
He's trying to hide something. So now there's obviously texts that he doesn't want investigators to see. Did he delete them because she's dead, or is he part of something that happened to her?
Deleting text messages certainly seems out of the ordinary.
Yes, it does.
Now investigators want to know if Jesse was doing anything out of the ordinary the day of Amanda's murder.
Did you stay home all day?
Most of the day. The only time I really left was to go to Friendly's.
What'd you go there for?
For my check. So.
Did you cash it?
No. Oh, actually, yeah, I did cash it at General's.
How did you get there?
I got a ride.
From who?
Kyle.
He says he goes to General's. We check a tape to verify his story. We learned that Kyle did not drive him there. So Jesse had lied. Jesse, we interviewed you twice already.
Yep.
And were you telling us the truth?
Everything except for about me taking my car to General.
Why weren't you telling the truth about that?
Because I told you guys that I didn't drive my car, and then when we got in the story, I remembered I took my car to General. I just didn't want to go back on my word. I was scared. I don't know. Believe me, I regretted it the second I did it.
You were scared?
Yeah.
What were you scared about?
Just nervous. I've never been interrogated before or anything like that. Never had to deal with anything like this.
Basically, his story is he didn't want to tell his parents he wasn't supposed to be driving. So he's more afraid of his parents than he was of the police. Jesse has lied about who he is with from Friendly's, quite possibly, if he's in the car by himself. He could have went by Amanda's and then went to General's.
With questions lingering over Jesse's account, investigators decide to compare his shoes to the bloody shoe prints left at the crime scene.
No, what are those, Vans?
Yeah. I have like 2 pairs of these.
Yeah, that's it.
You want to look at the bottom?
Yeah, the other side.
Ultimately, Jesse's shoes are not a match, and his alibi checks out.
We talked to the people at General's. He's not bloody. He's cashing his check.
Those close to Jesse never thought for a second that he was capable of such a heinous crime. Tell me about Jesse.
Jesse's a great kid. When his name was brought up, that was a absolutely not moment. I've never seen Jesse angry.
Sweetest kid.
And I know that was really intense for Jesse.
Yeah.
I know that was, to be put in that spotlight and to have the whispers, I think that was really hard for him.
With Jesse now fully cleared by authorities, investigators follow another lead. A mysterious vehicle that a witness says she saw speeding away from Amanda's apartment right around the time of the murder.
So to us, it's like, wow, that's big. We're on the lookout for a white sedan.
And a 911 call comes in that might just turn the entire case on its head.
Plymouth Police Court of Line Dispatch, Daily speaking.
I'd like to call to turn myself in.
Let's know what you're turning yourself in for.
A murder.
Jesse, there's a couple of things that are bothering me here on your statements.
Amanda's ex-boyfriend Jesse raised eyebrows when detectives say he was less than forthcoming with information.
Now, you said you still don't know how she died.
I don't.
You don't. I find that very hard to believe that you have no idea how she died when everybody's talking about it. It's been on the news.
But after determining Jesse had a solid alibi, he was cleared, and investigators with the Chicopee Police and the state police quickly move on. Still unclear who exactly they're searching for.
One of the best clues that investigators find is a shoe print, a sneaker that is a size 7.5 men's shoe, which is very small for men. It's the smallest size you can get in men's shoes. Or it could be a woman's size 9.
Investigators get a new lead from a neighbor of Amanda, a witness who told police she saw a suspicious car the day of the murder outside Amanda's apartment. And so afterwards, as you're learning more about the scene, you learn about this white sedan that's here that peels away at one point.
Right.
Not a common thing to do.
Not a common thing to do. And we actually got that information from the neighbor next door. They remember a white car here, and they just remember a female, single female in the car pulling away at a high rate of speed around the 4:30 hour. And then we identify who that white car was, ended up being a girl from East Hampton named Mercedes Benz.
That's right, her name is Mercedes Benz. Another friend of Amanda's who works at Friendly's.
Mercedes was a really nice girl. She was a waitress here also, and she was friends with Amanda, and we used to talk to her all the time also.
Now it was police who wanted to talk to Mercedes Benz. Mercedes tells detectives that Amanda had texted her earlier that day asking for a ride to work. She said it was a little after 5 p.m. when she arrived at Amanda's building. This is right around the time police believed Amanda was murdered. Mercedes said she called and texted Amanda to let her know that she'd arrived, but after waiting 5 or 6 minutes, she said she left.
We talked to Mercedes-Benz, and she says, well, the reason I had to leave was I had to go to Walmart.
Does that add up for you?
It doesn't add up, because her purpose of coming here all the way from East Hampton was to give a ride to Amanda to work, to Friendly's, which is basically 5 to 10 minutes down the road. So it doesn't make sense. If you pull up here to get her, why would you just leave without even going upstairs?
But what seems like a promising lead fizzles out. That neighbor who saw Mercedes speed away confirms she never got out of her car. And police obtained surveillance footage from Walmart that backs up her timeline. That's her in the white sedan pulling into Walmart. And more footage shows her shopping inside the store.
Mercedes was basically cleared once we were able to get the tape from Walmart.
Frustrated, investigators pushed forward, now casting a very wide net.
I mean, they were taking DNA from everybody and anybody.
We made a point for the medical examiner to make fingernail clippings of her fingernails. On this particular case, it was entered in a database, and there was no convictions for a felony that would have matched it.
With no matches to the DNA collected at the crime scene and no viable suspects, the case stalls. What surprised you most about this time?
I think how tight-lipped they were, whether it was Ronnie Gibbons or Chicopee detectives. Nobody was talking. Even to me. Nobody was talking. They were very tight-lipped about certain things.
How did that make you feel?
It was very frustrating at first because I wanted answers. And I would call every Sunday night. I would call down to Chicopee Police Department looking for the detectives. What's the update? What's the update? What's the update? Got nothing to tell you, Michelle. Got nothing to tell you, Michelle. But it's just, at what point is, I never gave up, but you just think, is this going to be a cold case? Will I ever know?
That fear of never getting justice for Amanda was fuel for a fire that was now burning inside Michelle.
My mom made it very clear that she wasn't just gonna let the case go cold.
I didn't give up hope because Michelle never gave up hope. She never gave up. She didn't let anybody else either.
Tell me about how, after this time had passed, that you said, I gotta take matters into my own hands.
I was driving home from work and I saw a billboard, and underneath it was Lamar and Company. And I said, you know what? Mom ain't playing around no more. I called them and emailed them, and next thing I knew, Amanda's billboard went up.
And that's just the beginning, right? You did flyers.
Balloon releases. I even had cards made up, business cards with the Texatip number on it. We attached them to the balloons. When we did the balloon releases, one of the balloons ended up 3 hours away, Cape Cod.
Wow.
It's been 18 months and 5 days since Amanda was murdered, so today I'm hoping with the release of these balloons that somebody will come forward.
Somebody knows something that happened that day. It was a busy Friday afternoon. We're just looking for that one missing piece of the puzzle.
She was just in your face. She really was like you would be as a mother. We want to find out what happened to your child, and she was out there. She was gonna find out.
Michelle's a force.
Despite Michelle's efforts to publicize Amanda's case, the investigation continues to languish. Then, a dramatic development. More than a year after the murder, a 911 call comes in that initially stuns police. A man confesses to Amanda's murder.
I like to turn myself in. I live in Plymouth.
Spell your last name.
Do I really have to? I'm turning myself in.
Right, but I have to know what you're turning yourself in for.
For murder.
From where, sir?
From Chicopee. From Amanda Place, and I just can't handle it anymore.
Cops track down the caller, but just like hundreds of other promising leads, the confession is a dead end. The caller was impersonating another man trying to get him in trouble. Neither had any involvement in the murder.
They had read it online, facts about the murder, and once you got through the facts, there was no factual basis to the confession. This is a very frustrating investigation.
And then a discovery that blows the investigation wide open.
And I still remember the night. It was probably at 10 o'clock at night.
I get a call from Ronnie Gibbons.
Michelle, you got that whiteboard from the apartment?
A clue that had been hiding in plain sight all along.
I never heard his name.
Had you ever heard Amanda mention something,
Nope.
Dennis?
Never, not once.
Can you spot the clue on this whiteboard?
Where do you guys want me to start?
Nobody could wrap their head around the fact that Amanda was killed to begin with, let alone trying to think of who could do it.
We had a billboard on 391, a huge billboard with this beautiful picture that she took of herself that day she was murdered.
Somebody knew something, and nobody was talking.
I kept saying, there's no way that there's no DNA. There's just no way. There has to be something.
There was a whiteboard way in the back. On the whiteboard, there was wording in it. Dennis was, W-A-Z, here.
Who's done this?
I got goosebumps right now.
I was on the way to the hospital. They had told me 12 hours before I had her that I was having a boy. And Amanda by Boston was on the radio. As her godmother and I drove to the hospital. And when she was born, the nurse looked at me and said, "It's not a boy." So I named her Amanda after the song by Boston.
I'm gonna take you by surprise and make you realize, Amanda,
She was just always bubbly and fun, and she had this big curly hair, and she just, she was a light.
But on that tragic Friday in August, Amanda's bright light was extinguished when she was found brutally murdered in her apartment.
She was laying on the kitchen floor right when I opened the door. Just in a pool of blood, stabbed to death.
I got the call to say that we have a homicide and respond to the scene. So I actually responded to the scene initially.
People in the neighborhood were worried. Is someone gonna come to my door and kill me?
You don't even think it's real at first, you know? You're numb to it. Then you're like, oh, okay, maybe something's like amiss. Like maybe this isn't true.
Nobody could wrap their head around the fact that Amanda was killed to begin with, let alone trying to think of who could do it.
At the crime scene, police discover a partial palm print on the broken window and a bloody shoe print in the kitchen near Amanda's body. But with lead after lead coming up empty, the investigation is losing momentum.
They interview hundreds of people who knew her, friends, relatives, coworkers, and there is nothing new under the sun. Unless somebody comes forward with new information, this case is going to grow cold.
I think there's this impression sometimes that a murder happens, police will solve it in months. Some cases, they take time, they linger. Was that frustrating for you?
It was very frustrating because, you know, as time goes on, and you have to realize that in 2011, when this occurred, time didn't stop. Investigations didn't stop. Crime didn't stop. So we were working other cases as well.
I was getting nervous that her case was going cold.
If somebody knows something that happened that day, we're just looking for that one missing piece of the puzzle.
Amanda's mother, Michelle, takes matters into her own hands, organizing benefits, balloon releases. She even got a massive billboard with Amanda's picture put up on the highway.
I wanted people driving down the highway and seeing my daughter's face. Somebody knew something, and nobody was talking.
But then, a little more than a year after the murder, the story takes a strange turn. Rumors are swirling in Chicopee about graphic crime scene photos seen at a high school football game.
New details on the Chicopee police officers accused of taking pictures of murder victim Amanda Plass's body.
It was June 10th of 2013. I will never forget. There was a news conference. It was the then mayor who was appointing a new chief of police and said that they were investigating a crime scene photo leak by 2 of the Chicopee police officers.
My heart just sank. What do you mean police officers were taking pictures of the crime scene and sharing them?
2 Chicopee police officers who had been assigned to protect the crime scene took photos of Amanda's body with their personal phones, and adding insult to injury, they forwarded the pictures to other officers, and it was shown to coaches at a high school football game.
Everyone, the whole newsroom was, how could anyone do this? How could an officer do this?
Michelle sued the police department and the city, claiming emotional abuse suffered at the hands of the Chicopee PD.
They sued him for $10 million. I sued the city, the police department. I sued them all. It wasn't about the money. It was about proving a point.
An internal affairs investigation called the behavior an affront to the professionalism otherwise demonstrated by Chicopee and the state investigators in this case. The officers responsible were disciplined by the police department.
They were there to protect the scene, and at my daughter's most vulnerable moment, you just respect her in the worst way ever and think that's okay. I just, I was mad.
At the same time Michelle's dealing with the photo controversy, she's campaigning tirelessly to keep Amanda's murder case front and center. What was it like for you to have to handle questions about that controversy, while at the same time, what you're really focused on is finding your daughter's killer?
Yeah, and I think that's the hard part of it all. I didn't want the controversy to overshadow the fact that we still did not have justice for Amanda. We were still looking and begging for that end to be closed.
Investigators working on Amanda's case had no involvement in the alleged scandal. Frustrated by the lack of progress, they go back to square one, reviewing everything from scratch.
We would try to keep saying, what do we miss? What do we miss? What do we miss?
And then a breakthrough. While reviewing photos of the crime scene, investigators spot a potentially critical clue that had been overlooked, hiding in plain sight in Amanda's bedroom.
We come upon, in a scene where the table is at, there was a whiteboard way in the back. On the whiteboard, there was wording in it, Dennis was, W-A-Z, here, 8/11/11.
The grisly murder took place in the kitchen, but the whiteboard was in Amanda's bedroom, which appeared undisturbed, and they missed the clue.
I get a call from Ronnie Gibbons, and it was like 9:45 at night.
Michelle, you got that whiteboard from the apartment?
I said, yeah, it's in the closet. He said, I'll be over in 5 minutes. I gotta grab it.
After more than 2 years, investigators finally had a name. But the answer to the question, who is Dennis, only brings more mystery. This Dennis was here on this whiteboard. This is a huge clue for your case.
This is a big clue.
Why?
Because Dennis' name had never come up in the investigation.
Now we're scrolling through Amanda's Facebook going, who's Dennis?
She didn't know. Amy Lay didn't know.
Her friends were calling me going, Dennis. Nobody knew who Dennis was.
Amanda's friend Desiree said, through force of sheer will, you kept her name out there. How difficult was that?
It was difficult. It takes a toll. And there are some nights where you just, again, you don't want to be that mom. But then something else would pop up and you'd be like, okay, let me call Trooper Gibbons. It was tough. It was very tough.
I had Michelle that was calling me at 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night, mad and angry. You gotta do something. You gotta do something.
There was never a time where Ronnie did not show up at my house without a smile on his face. The only side that I saw was the compassionate side, the side that said, I'm here to the end.
It was a Wednesday night in October, more than 2 years after the murder, when Detective Gibbons was the one making a late-night phone call to Michelle.
It was October 30th, 2013, 9:45 at night. I get a call from Ronnie Gibbons. Hey, you still got that whiteboard from Amanda's apartment? I said, yeah, it's in the closet. He said, I'll be over in 5 minutes. I gotta grab it.
The discovery of a name hiding in plain sight on a whiteboard in Amanda's apartment kickstarts an investigation that, frankly, had been on life support. Now the question everyone is asking, who's Dennis?
No one knew Dennis.
Had you ever heard Amanda mention someone named Dennis?
Never, not once.
I never heard his name.
The detectives told me right when they found it, asking me if I knew the name. I'm like, no idea.
It is such a long shot, but they zone in on that and they decide they need to find out who Dennis is.
One of the things that was missing was her cell phone. We went back to her cell phone records. We came out that there was phone calls for a number. They came back to a Dennis Rosa Roman. I immediately recognized the name because about a year before, I had actually arrested Dennis Rosa Roman.
Gibbons had arrested Rosa Roman on a misdemeanor charge of disorderly conduct. Rosa Roman pled guilty and paid a fine. But now Gibbons knew exactly who Dennis Rosa Roman was. The question, was this the same Dennis whose name was on that whiteboard?
You have anything further you want to tell us?
A possible answer could lie in one of the police interviews with Amanda's ex-boyfriend, Jesse.
While Jesse was still dating Amanda, Amanda had told him that she thinks her apartment had been broken into while she was at work.
She thought it was some kid that she had met and bought weed off of.
Jesse described him as being shorter. Jesse's probably like 5'10", 6 feet.
He's got to live like somewhere within like 2-second walk. I remember I used to see him walking around like that area all the time.
Jesse said Amanda told him she had hung out with the person once before, but he had no idea where. Now Detective Gibbons is wondering if the man Jesse had been describing in that interview could have been Dennis Rosa Roman. Amanda lives about a half a block away from this park. She used to hang out here, right?
Yeah, this was like a hangout for the neighborhood. And we learned later on, this is kind of like where Dennis would hang out during the daytime because it just didn't work.
So they might have come across each other in this park just in passing in the neighborhood.
Exactly, exactly.
In the time since Amanda's murder, Dennis Rosa Roman had moved from Chicopee to nearby Westfield, Massachusetts. Gibbons decides to pay him a visit. So now we're headed to Westfield, Massachusetts. Why is that significant?
That's very significant because once we found Dennis was here on the whiteboard and his number is on the phone, we want to locate Dennis.
What's your expectation going there? What are you trying to achieve?
The plan was to knock on his door and talk to him, just like we had talked to over 50 other people in the case, as well as to get his shoe size, as well as to get his DNA. I go to the apartment, ring the doorbell, no answer, and next thing you know, I see from a side alleyway that's between the building, Dennis come out.
And what happens next?
Beautiful timing. But here he is, he comes right around the corner.
Just walking right to you.
Walking right to us. So I stop him and then say, hey, Dennis, you got a moment? We want to talk to you about Chicopee. We want to talk about a girl named Amanda Plass.
Yeah.
His first thing is, he kind of chuckles. He says, oh, no, I don't go to Chicopee. It's too dangerous there. And I say, well, how about this girl Amanda Plass? And he says, oh, I don't know Amanda at all. So I know that from the phone records, yes, he does know Amanda Plass.
In fact, Gibbons knew from those phone records that there were 9 calls between Dennis and Amanda. Dennis had called Amanda 5 times just a month before the murder.
I said, hey, can we go to the police station? He said, no, I got something I got to do. I noticed him light up a cigarette, and he's smoking on a cigarette. And now I'm thinking, wow, maybe I can get DNA off this cigarette that he's smoking.
Although Gibbons had arrested Rosa Roman a year prior, Because he had never been convicted of a felony, his DNA was never entered into the national database. Gibbons says Rosa Roman didn't want to talk to him that day and began to walk away, but not before he tossed the cigarette he was smoking on the sidewalk.
Meanwhile, I told my partners, go to my car, get a paper bag, give me some rubber gloves. Dennis sees that because he keeps looking back. My partners come back with rubber gloves. He sees me put them on. He sees that paper bag. He sees me reach down and put that inside that bag.
Two days later, Dennis Rosa Roman is sitting in an interview room at the Westfield Police Department.
So your first name is Dennis, right?
Yes, D-E-N-N-I-S.
Engaging in a high-stakes game of cat and mouse with investigators.
I don't feel right doing this at all, but I have to. You don't even understand. I'm trying to save my life here.
Outside his home, Dennis Rosa Roman appears to be acting cool and calm with detectives. Until he sees them pick up his cigarette butt off the street. Clearly he's concerned, because not long after they leave, he calls Lieutenant Ronald Gibbons.
After seeing me take that cigarette butt, he's now blowing my phone up. Hey, you and I gotta talk.
You say you really need to talk to today.
Yeah, like seriously. Where do you guys want me to start?
Where they want him to start when they meet with the cameras rolling is very simple. Does he know Amanda Plass?
You knew her.
I met her. I didn't know her that long, but I knew her of her.
You know her first name?
Amanda.
How much before did you meet her that she passed?
Say like a week or two.
Okay.
2 weeks the most.
So you know her about a week or two before she got killed?
Yeah.
He didn't know Amanda at all. And then he comes around to say that, okay, I did know Amanda, but I would sell her weed.
I met her by Family Dollar in Tedeschi and Chicopee.
Okay.
You know where that's at? So I seen her, she asked me if I could get some bud.
How many times previously did you get weed for her?
It's only been like 3 times, the most.
You ever been to her apartment?
Like up the stairs, and that's about it. I've never stepped in her house. I've never seen the inside of her house.
As Dennis is talking, he notices detectives checking out his sneakers.
Like my shoes?
Yeah, Nikes.
Air Maxes.
What he wears into the station that particular day is this black Air Max shoe. And we took the aha moment to say, you know what, can you take off your shoe and I'm going to take a picture of your shoe.
Oh, my feet stink. I'm sorry.
Because the crime scene itself had an imprint in blood.
The print that you found on the scene, what size was that?
That was a size 7.5 Nike shoe.
And what size is the shoe that we're looking at?
This is a size 7.5 Nike shoe.
Remember, detectives have had no luck matching those bloody shoe prints to previous suspects. So according to Gibbons, this is potentially damning if confirmed, but still not as conclusive as a DNA match to what was found under Amanda's fingernails. So Gibbons says they get Rosa Roman to agree to a DNA mouth swab.
Just, open your mouth, just rub that inside of your lip. And so do the other side.
Gibbons says he wants Rosa Roman directly tested in case that cigarette butt sample might somehow be contaminated.
Doing great. Under your tongue.
There's a really big difference between you thinking, hey, I think we got our guy, and you lining it up with the evidence.
This is a matter of facts.
So the day that this all happened, what happened that day?
So, Rosa Roman starts telling detectives his version of what happened the day Amanda was killed.
I brought her some weed.
Did she call you like that day? Or?
Yeah, she called me that day. She said, yo, can you give me a dime bag? She was not the one that came to the door. Like, the guy opened the door, he just said, yo, give me that, and that's it. And I went about my way.
What Dennis says is that this other guy was at the apartment.
I didn't bother to say anything to the guy. The guy looked suspect, like, he looked suspicious.
He answers detectives' questions about what he says the man looked like.
I'm 6 feet, so what do you think?
5'10", maybe.
He's taller than you.
Taller than me, obviously. Yeah. He has like dirty blondish hair.
Would you say white?
Yeah, he's white. Say he weighs like about 170, 190 the most, almost 200 pounds.
And goes on to describe what he claims he heard while outside the apartment.
I'm listening to this guy's like, I want my money. I didn't give you this for no reason. Why would you do this to me?
That was the guy's voice?
Yeah.
You're asking him questions about the description of the man who made these comments from inside the apartment. Why are you asking him about that?
Because I want to lock him into a story. Will you be consistent with that story, or you go on another tangent?
So the guy said something to her like, I want my money, I didn't do this, I want my money.
I didn't do this for nothing.
For nothing?
Right.
Did you hear her voice?
No, I didn't. I didn't hear nothing.
Rosa Roman is consistent. Even though Gibbons says he is convinced Rosa Roman is making up his story.
That's all about everything I know, and I can't say no more, no less. You know what I'm saying? Julie, I'm sorry, guys. I'm actually helping you guys. You know what I'm saying?
You're very helpful.
Yeah, you know
because you know
what
what? Not too many people have told us that they saw the guy there, you know? So that's, you're aces with me, you know?
I didn't have enough to arrest him at this point. I had to allow him to leave.
Thank you very much.
One interview ends, but Rosa Roman isn't done answering questions. 2 days later,
This picture is inside her apartment. You ever seen this room?
It's a photo of that whiteboard. What will Rosa Roman have to say when he's shown his name is on it?
And see right here, it says Dennis was here. Dennis, thank you very much for coming in.
I'm good.
And you've been very cooperative with us, and we appreciate that.
Dennis Rosa Roman agrees to another interview.
I wish I knew more to help you guys.
Repeating the story detectives say they don't believe, that he never entered Amanda Plass's apartment the day of her murder after he claims some man answered her door.
I'm gonna give her some weed. It's like, well, she's busy right now, and I give it to him, he shuts the door dumb hard in my face, and that's it. It's like, okay, this guy's mad, and I'm about to leave, like, and I laugh. You know what I'm saying?
But Rosa Roman says that was long enough for the man to recognize him.
I feel like this guy's just gonna run into me one day and just like try to say something to me or hurt me or something, and that's when I'm gonna peel my ass to the police station. Like,
Yeah. Is that because he saw you that day?
like this guy knows what I look like.
But what Rosa Roman doesn't know is that Gibbons is expecting critical evidence to the case to come back at any moment. The results from his DNA swab.
You were asking about this picture, right?
Yeah. I want to see.
So before that happens, Gibbons confronts Rosa Roman for the first time about that all-important whiteboard where it says Dennis was here.
This picture is inside her apartment. You ever seen this room?
First time I'm seeing it.
We said, first time I'm seeing it. And then, well, how about this? This whiteboard that's in the back room.
And see right here, it says Dennis was here. Oh yeah, I do remember that. I wrote my name on that. You wrote your name on that?
Yeah. I remember that. I wrote my name on that.
So he's admitting to you that that's his name on the whiteboard.
You've told me all this time you've never been in an apartment, and now I got you in there.
So you signed Dennis was here.
Right.
You didn't put the date.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I don't even know why that's there. I don't.
Yeah. But you remember this dry erase board?
Yeah, I do remember.
Where was the dry erase board?
That was in the back of, the door right when you come in.
Yeah.
It was right there, and
As he is confronted with the evidence, he shapeshifts. He manages to keep changing his story to try to ameliorate the facts in front of him. There are certain kind of people who can make up things on the fly and change their narrative based on the clues that are being given to them.
When you say you never been inside her place.
well, I have been in her house, but like, I just don't want people to look at me like if I'm a murderer.
So now this is the first time that he actually puts himself in the apartment.
But you went in the apartment. How many other times have you been inside the apartment?
Twice. 2 times, that's it.
And what were they for?
to bring her weed and smoke the bowl and sign this.
So the room that you were in were that back room,
the kitchen, and the back room. That's about it.
The back room was where the whiteboard was.
So what are you putting together at this point?
I'm putting together at this point that he, in fact, had not only been in that back room, he'd also been in the kitchen at some point where the crime occurred.
Remember, Amanda had told friends she suspected someone had broken into her apartment, and Dennis says she had asked him about that.
You said that Amanda approached you about somebody breaking into her place?
Yeah. She asked me, like, yo, somebody came into my house. Do you guys know? And I was like, well, I really don't know. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Now Gibbons suspects that someone was Rosa Roman. Then, a few minutes later, a huge development. The detectives get called to leave the interrogation room.
How much longer is this going to take? 5 minutes. All right.
Outside, they get the news the DNA results are in. Rosa Roman is a match for what was found under Amanda's fingernails. They soon drop that bombshell on him directly.
The DNA that was found under her fingernails connects you to her. And you know what? It doesn't just get there.
Dennis is now thinking in his mind, how do I get out of this?
And what he tells them next totally flips the story on its head. He now claims he tried to save Amanda.
I know the murderer, and I tried to save her life.
What's he trying to do here?
He's trying to create a situation of why we have his DNA, why his DNA is possibly on her.
He's casting himself almost as the hero in this.
Yes, he is.
Well, why don't you tell us everything that happened in the apartment?
I know the murderer. That's all I know. I can't give you no more. I'm sorry. That's
You
it.
said he tried.
I want a lawyer.
But
I want a lawyer.
okay.
Gibbons says asking for a lawyer stops the interrogation room recording immediately. So you don't see the scuffle that he says breaks out when detectives handcuff Rosa Roman and place him under arrest.
You don't have to be aggressive with me, dude. You didn't have to be that aggressive.
And then they have him booked. He's charged with first-degree murder. This is over 2 years after Amanda was killed. They tell you, we are making an arrest.
Yep.
What did you think?
Finally. Finally. You know, you always wonder why. Why?
Dennis, though, is admitting nothing.
What are you guys trying to do? Pin me for this murder, too? My DNA may be on her body, my DNA may be at the house, but you guys really don't know what went down.
But after he's transported from the Westfield Police Department to Chicopee, he's about to explain.
He demanded to speak to myself and Watson again. So he didn't come to the door. You actually went inside.
I went inside. I barged in.
Was the door open?
The door was unlocked.
As Rosa Roman tells them the newest version of his story, he now claims when he hears the commotion inside Amanda's apartment, he rushes in and fights the man he says was trying to kill her.
What do you see when you get to the kitchen?
I see the guy on top of her.
When you say he was on top of her, where was she at?
She was on the floor.
What are you doing?
I'm tussling with the guy and trying to get the knife out of his hand, and he's just like thrusting it forward towards me, and I'm like trying to back up, and I try to like grab Amanda, and she scratched me. Yeah, she got some skin off of me, but that's because I was trying to save her.
That's right. Rosa Roman now claims he tried to save Amanda's life. This is the key to his new story. His explanation for why his DNA is under Amanda's fingernails, even though he says he didn't kill her.
And after that, me and him were tussling, and the guy punches me in the jaw, and I run out the door.
And that's what his story was, that this guy is now following him around town. He's now being threatened by this guy because this guy doesn't want the truth to come out. What did he tell you?
Yo, you snitch on me, I'm gonna kill you. Just like that. Like, I know I killed her, and that's it. It's done.
But now, Rosa Roman has to tell that story in court.
The trial of the man accused of killing 20-year-old Amanda Plass is getting underway today in Springfield.
And he says he can identify who Amanda's killer is.
Amanda Plass's parents sat hand in hand with Justice for Amanda bracelets on as they waited for the murder trial of their 20-year-old daughter to begin.
I think I broke down more so in the courtroom, just looking at him.
It's kind of hard to describe how it felt to see him for the first time. It's like a fever dream. Like, is this really happening? But my mind was not on him. My mind is on my sister.
When I was selected for the jury, it was surreal. It was definitely a bit of a, oh my God, what am I in for? The home that Amanda lived in was 2 houses from where my mother grew up and my grandmother lived. It just became very personal.
The evidence in this case will show that on Friday, August 26, 2011, Amanda Plass was brutally murdered in her home. Miss Plass was getting ready to go to work when the defendant came into her apartment while she was getting ready and stabbed her 6 times.
Prosecutors lay out their case against Dennis Rosa Roman. There are the bloody footprints in his shoe size, his palm print on the broken window, and his DNA under Amanda's fingernails. They argue that Dennis, and only Dennis, committed this crime.
1 set of bloody footprints. 1 major male DNA profile underneath both her right hand and left hand fingernails. 1 killer, 1 defendant.
They literally took us from A to B to C to D. They laid out every single piece of evidence. They correlated every piece of evidence to him.
In addition to the physical evidence, prosecutors also used Dennis's own words against him.
And she right here, it says, Dennis was here. Oh yeah, I do remember that. I wrote my name on that.
Each time he's confronted with evidence, he changes his story to fit the evidence.
I think it was important for them to see the 3 interviews because it showed Dennis as agreeing to some of the facts, denying some of the facts, and then coming around and changing his stories repeatedly.
But while the prosecution says the evidence proves Dennis's guilt, the defense argues that it isn't what it seems.
He was in her apartment when Amanda Plass was killed. He did not do it, but he knows the guy who did it.
The last story he told was that he was there with another man and he saw the other man kill Amanda, but he will never give the name because he was afraid the killer would kill his family.
And he tells you how many times he's afraid for himself, he's afraid for his family. Charge me, I'm not giving up his name. My name pops up, meaning if they capture him, if my name pops up, he's gonna kill me.
Dennis's version of events kept changing over those 3 police interviews. In his final one, Dennis had a new detail for detectives, that the alleged killer was none other than his own drug dealer.
Your dealer went to her house?
Yeah.
Your dealer?
My dealer.
The 2 of you walk in the house together?
Yeah.
He had said he was there because he had given Amanda pot and she had not paid. So he said that the drug dealer killed Amanda and he saw it.
Yelling like, yo, why are you doing this? I'm gonna get you your money. And I try to grab her and she like grabs my arm and he's just keep going and going and going and going.
What do you mean he's going and going? He's stabbing her?
Keep continuously stabbing her and she just collapsed on the floor after I separated her.
Think she was dead?
I know she was dead. I was just thinking to myself like, how do I get myself out of this?
The defense strategy was basically that the police should have looked further.
They continually brought up other people to say, well, it could have been them, or it was them, or it was this, or just to try to have a sense of doubt.
After 8 days of testimony, the fate of Dennis Rosa Roman now rests with the jury.
When we retired to the jury room to deliberate, we took a photo of Amanda. It was a close-up of her face with her smile, and we hung that in the jury room just so we could remember why we were there and what this was all about.
It was hard. You don't ever want to think of your best friend going through something that awful. And that was her final moments.
Yeah.
And then bringing that into the trial, it was just...
It's terrible.
It's terrible. To this day, it's just... there's no words.
After only 5 hours of deliberation, the jury reaches a verdict.
We were sitting in the DA's office in the break room, and next thing you know, you hear running down the hall that the jury came back.
Breaking news this hour, a guilty verdict today in the Amanda Plass murder trial.
The jury today found Dennis Rosa Roman guilty of first-degree murder.
We had a couple jurors who weren't quite sure. One of them wanted to review a bunch of evidence again, and his commentary the whole time was, look at him, he's lying, he keeps changing his answers. And we very quickly came to a unanimous decision that Dennis was guilty.
When that moment you felt?
Relief, definite relief. Now I can put an end to this chapter.
Despite a guilty verdict, there's still the unanswered question hanging over this case. And that's, why did Dennis Rosa Roman kill Amanda Plass in the first place? Dennis Rosa Roman has been found guilty of the murder of Amanda Plass. But the one mystery that still remains is motive.
I don't know why. There's only one person who knows why. And he never spoke, so that's definitely the hardest of it. There wasn't a bad bone in that child's body. She never did anything wrong to anybody.
Lieutenant Gibbons has developed his own theory as to why he believes Dennis Rosa Roman murdered Amanda. He says he learned during the investigation that there was a bag of marijuana inside Amanda's apartment left behind by someone else. Gibbons says investigators were never able to find that bag and suspects Dennis broke in looking to steal it.
Dennis is a low-level dealer in the neighborhood. My theory is that he wanted to steal that weed that was in the apartment, and Amanda was a victim of circumstances that she happened to be there when he arrived.
Before Rosa Roman is sentenced, Amanda's mother, surrounded by family, tearfully addresses the court.
On August 26, 2011, my world was forever changed. My pain does not end here, but my healing begins.
I think at that point, it was finally my time to tell him, you took something precious from this world, and I hope you never see the light of day again.
There is no amount of time that will ever bring Amanda back. I would like to ask the court to hand out the highest sentence possible of life without parole.
It's the justice Michelle Pena has spent more than 5 years fighting for.
Court is hereby sentence you to the Massachusetts Correctional Institution in Cedar Junction for the term of your natural life without the possibility of parole.
As you look at him and you see that he's getting life without parole, what emotions are going through you at that time?
It was a relief knowing that we were finally at another closing point.
Did you feel like justice had been served?
No, justice will never be served because she's dead and he's not.
As for those officers who snapped those photos of Amanda's body at her most vulnerable moment, the mayor of Chicopee released a written apology. Michelle also reached a resolution in the lawsuit she filed.
Plass's family sued the city of Chicopee and the police department. The lawsuit was settled for $110,000.
Michelle continued her fight and helped pass Amanda's Law.
The bill bans first responders from taking and sharing unauthorized pictures of crime victims.
For an officer to want, in that moment, to take a picture of a scene like that, it makes my stomach turn. My mom wanted to make it known that you're never doing that again.
Today, Michelle keeps Amanda's memory alive by sharing her story with college students.
This is about the path that I have taken, the path that has helped me to my healing process. I want people to know that the grief never goes away, but dealing with it or trying to deal with it or put a Band-Aid on it enough to get you through every day is what you have to do.
Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Oh, these are great. That's her and Brandon. Brandon is my son. See just how the happiness on his face and her big smile. I have always said that Amanda passing kind of saved my life because I knew that I wanted to make her proud. She really helped me become the woman who I am today.
She was just a very kind person and wanted to help the world be better, and that's just something I hope everyone can try to do, you know.
Do you feel like she's
Oh,
with
yeah.
you now?
Oh, absolutely. All the time.
If you could have one more minute with her, one more second to say something to her, what would you say?
What she always said and what she always did. Keep your face to the sun and never look back at your shadows. Just like her precious sunflowers.
Dennis Rosa Roman appealed his conviction, but it was denied. And David, even though he was sentenced to life without parole, there's still a chance he could walk free one day as early as 2028.
A Massachusetts court has ruled that it's unconstitutional to sentence offenders under the age of 21 to life without parole. Rosa Roman was 20 at the time of Amanda's murder. Her family tells 2020 they plan to fight this new ruling. That's our program for tonight. I'm David Muir.
And I'm Deborah Roberts. From all of us here at ABC News and 2020, good night. What a beautiful picture. Now, the Dolly Parton song comes to mind when I hear Jolene.
Jolene, Jolene.
Did that have any impact on your naming her?
It was because of that song. Something's not right. Jolene's not answering. Not hearing from Jolene on Mother's Day? On her birthday?
She started doing her little Houdini acts. And I thought she was just seeing somebody else.
Urgent search for a missing mother in Nassau County.
What do you think happened to Joey? Well, she's hanging out with these bad dudes, bad crowd.
Sounds like she had trouble with figuring out men.
She did. First thought was the boyfriend, had done something.
And this is your opportunity here to clear your name, and you're acting like a jackass.
I had nothing to do with Jolene being missing. I love her. I miss her.
At some point, Jolene confides in you some thoughts, some suspicions.
It is the actual moment where we perceived we are looking at something more sinister. Who is that figure that walks across in the darkness?
You could see them walk around the building just as I did, and then they go ahead and enter the building.
No one had any idea how truly unhinged that she was.
When I saw the video, hair on the back of my neck stand up moment.
Nestled on the tip of Amelia Island sits North Florida's Fernandina Beach. With its shrimp boats bobbing in the harbor next to oak-shaded streets, both tourists and locals come to savor the island life.
I would describe Fernandina Beach as a small area that a lot of people come to visit. It's very welcoming.
It's kind of like a hippie beach town. We have a shrimp drop where we have a big lit up shrimp, and they drop it just like they do New Year's at the ball with the ball. You have all the pirate ships. There's even Pippi Longstocking's houses down in Old Town.
That house was made famous in the 1988 film The New Adventures of Pippi Longstocking, based on the children's book.
Hello. Come on, Pippi.
Our crime rate in Nassau County is very low when you compare to our surrounding areas.
But on Mother's Day in May of 2018, Jolene Cummings, a single mom of 3, never arrives to pick up her children from her ex-husband, Jason Cummings. Evening is now falling over northern Florida, and Jolene's 2 young sons are waiting in a grocery store parking lot with their dad. The minutes tick by, but their mom never arrives to pick them up.
And it was her birthday, and it was Mother's Day weekend. She always wanted to spend that time with her kids.
What were her plans as far as you knew?
It would have been the first time that she would have been able to celebrate Mother's Day and her birthday with the boys, and she would be at my house.
Why in the world would this mom suddenly disappear on such a big day? Those close to her say that as a young, working, single mother, Jolene would often feel overwhelmed and take off, making time for herself. Might she have just gone off and done something without telling you?
Has Jolene gone off in the past? Oh, yes. Have I been able to contact her? Yes.
Did you have a feeling?
Yeah. Yeah, not hearing from Jolene on Mother's Day, on her birthday. Yes, I had this gut-wrenching feeling all day. And I told my husband, I need to call this in. He said, no, Aunt, wait till tomorrow. So at 8 o'clock on Monday morning, I called.
8:08 a.m., Ann Johnson contacted the sheriff's office and reported that her adult daughter, Jolene Cummings, was missing. She stated that no one had heard from Jolene for at least 2 days. I was named the lead investigator on this case. It was urgent to me from the start. While it's certainly not uncommon for an adult to, go missing or take off for a couple of days, there were some things that really concerned Miss Johnson about it.
Her daughter would have spent Saturday at the Tangles hair salon where she had worked for 6 years.
So Tangles is a salon that's right on the edge of Yulee and Fernandina Beach. It's in a shopping center. There are multiple chairs, multiple stylists working there, day in and day out.
Hi, ladies.
Hey.
Hey, I'm Deborah.
I'm Brittany.
Brittany, nice to meet you.
I'm Jill.
Hey, Jill. Nice to meet you.
She was my hairdresser. That's how we met.
Somebody said that she was kind of a hairapist.
Yeah.
Like a therapist, but doing hair.
Yeah, absolutely, because she would always give you the best advice.
Now, what was she like as a mom? Because on the one hand, she had this creative career, but then she was also a pretty young mom.
She was there to support them. I think she grew up and she didn't get to do the things that other kids got to do sometimes. So she really wanted to make sure her daughter did everything that she didn't get to do.
Those boys and her daughter were just the love of her life. The place that she was living in was my brother-in-law's. It wasn't the best, but she was saving to move.
I wanted to go to Jolene's home to find out where she lived and to see if there were any clues there, anything there that might give me an idea where she might be. Jolene's stepfather gave me access to the home. When I went inside, there were cabinets that were hanging by one hinge. It appeared as if somebody had actually punched and kicked holes in the wall. This evidence was very worrisome for a person who's gone missing.
It's clearly a disturbing and suspicious scene, and there's one person investigators want to talk to, Jolene's ex-husband, Jason Cummings.
Anytime someone goes missing, you have a list of people that you probably want to talk to. Exes are always at the top of that list.
Jason and Jolene had somewhat of a rocky relationship.
There was an injunction in place between Jolene and her ex-husband, a no violence injunction that said there'd be no violence between the two individuals. Jason he made it obvious that it was contentious about custody of the kids, that the court had not decided yet.
Texts between the former couple reveal a volatile relationship, with Jolene once writing, "These kids have seen and heard enough," and Jason responding, "See you in court, Jolene." And in another text, Jason writes, "I hate you, and tomorrow you will hate me. I promise that."
They still had an amicable relationship. They worked together for the love of the children.
We wanted to talk to him, see if he knows anything, knows about where she may be or has seen her.
I made contact with Jason Cummings via phone. I scheduled him to come in the next morning to do an interview at the sheriff's office.
It's now Tuesday, 2 days since Jolene was last seen, And her ex-husband, Jason Cummings, is sitting in the Nassau County Sheriff's Office with Detective Harrington.
She is my ex-wife. I love her. I mean, she's my kid's mom.
Telling him how Jolene's happy exterior hid a darker side of her personality.
She's angry most of the time, but she's also happy at us. She's the type of woman that wouldn't let you know. You could see it on her face, but she wouldn't tell you what was bothering.
When Jason Cummings is answering these questions, he did let police know that it wasn't uncommon for Jolene to sometimes disappear without explanation.
But I was like, look, you need to get it together. You know, this right here is the reason why I left her, because she would disappear for a few days. She started doing her little Houdini acts, and I thought she was just seeing somebody else.
Jason Cummings let police know that he had an alibi for the day that Jolene went missing. He was with the kids, and he had his parents that he was around who could verify that.
And where did you go with that when you left there? Kids ate, we all ate. Granny and Papa, while they were getting ready for church, me and the kids went out there in their room before or something.
The dad of Jolene's two youngest kids then steers investigators in a completely different direction, mentioning somebody else close to his ex-wife.
He said, if you're gonna look at anybody, you need to look at this new guy she's dating. He's not a good guy.
She's hanging out with these bad dudes, bad crowd.
Now, the Dolly Parton song comes to mind when I hear Jolene. Did that have any impact on your naming her?
Yeah, it was because of that song.
Jolene, Jolene, Jolene.
Dolly Parton's song is J-O-L-E-N-E. And I found the J-O-L-E-E-N, which meant pretty. That fit her because when she was born, she had the eyes of green and her hair was auburn.
Skin and eyes of emerald green.
Urgent search for a missing mother in Nassau County.
Our Julia Janae is live at the state attorney's office.
At the time of Jolene Cummings' disappearance, I was an investigative reporter for First Coast News, the ABC affiliate there in Jacksonville.
The mother of Jolene Cummings, who said she's heartbroken.
We will continue to search for Jolene. We have searched for her utilizing all of our resources, including canines, horses, and boats.
People are talking about it like crazy. They're asking questions. They're wanting answers.
So days go by, nothing. What are you thinking?
It was the most horrible time of my life. I was searching, friends were searching, my husband was searching with me.
Constant alerts on the news and that she was being searched for. People were asked to keep an eye out for Jolene's vehicle.
Those with any information about where Cummings is urged to call the Nassau County Sheriff's Office.
What did you think?
I just stopped. I was frozen. I didn't know what to think.
And I thought that this is not my Jolene. This has to be somebody else. And then I went online to look it up, and sure enough, it was her picture, and I just had a sinking feeling.
Now, detectives are ready to interview their very first person of interest, and that would be Jolene's ex-husband, Jason Cummings. These two had a volatile relationship.
What do you think happened to Jolene? Me personally, I hope that she's don't want to be found, and now she's got all this attention on her, she's probably scared. Is that your hope, or is that your thought? What is my hope?
But while he's in the hot seat, Cummings tells Detective Harrington that he should be looking at another Jason in Jolene's life.
I just know his first name's Jason. I've never met him. I got text messages from people saying he's bad news.
When I asked him about, why he was so concerned about this person, he just said that he had a criminal history. He was very concerned about Jolene, and more specifically, being around a type of person like that.
And I'm hoping she'll pop up any minute and say, hey, I'm here. I hope we're spending a lot of time for, no reason. She's hanging out with these bad dudes, bad crowd. She shouldn't be doing this crap.
After police completed their questioning,
I appreciate it.
Jason Cummings was able to leave the Nassau County Sheriff's Office.
After checking out Jason Cummings' alibis, he was cleared of any wrongdoing. The next person of interest that we wanted to look at is her current boyfriend, who she had broken up with, Jason G.
When Jolene had gone missing, I had heard that she had had a boyfriend who was not the best of news.
It sounds like while she might have been bright and airy, she had trouble with figuring out men.
She did. She had been married and divorced. A boyfriend, I believe he's had kind of some trouble with the law.
A record.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
Jolene also liked the underdog. Irrelevant what their past was.
Jolene wanted to fix people, and I think that's really why she dated him.
Jason G. had a outstanding warrant from Nassau County. As a matter of fact, it was a felony warrant for a violation of probation, and he was wanted by the Nassau County Sheriff's Office.
But he wasn't a stranger to law enforcement.
He had previously had arrests for drug offenses, for domestic.
Jason G. was in fact convicted of several drug offenses, but not that alleged domestic violence charge. That was dropped.
There was a report also with Jolene and Jason G. getting into an altercation, a domestic violence situation at their home a couple days prior to this.
Jason G. had come over to the house and had wanted to spend the night with Jolene. Jolene was concerned it would cause problems with her divorce. Jason G. got very angry to the point that he started destroying items in the house.
For investigators, Jolene's allegations explain all that physical damage they saw inside her home.
Next on their list, police are really eager to talk to Jason G., but he is nowhere to be found.
We had a difficult time. We looked, it took a little while to track Jason G. down. It appeared from, trying to check his cell phone that he was only turning it on occasionally when he needed to, and that he was turning it off so that he couldn't be tracked. I don't think he was staying in one location very long.
He didn't have a means of transportation, so we knew he was probably in the Hilliard area. However, his parents lived in Jacksonville on the north side.
With all that, we did get a warrant to try to locate him by pinging his phone. He was found hiding under a bunch of cardboard boxes in a bedroom. So it was very, very suspicious to us. He was a prime suspect when we did the interview.
When the interrogation of Jason G. starts, it begins with the detective keeping his tone pretty calm, his demeanor pretty calm.
Can we go just kind of back to the beginning and tell me, how you guys got together, where you met?
That's a little over a year ago. We went to school together and didn't never know each other, but I went over to party and we just got together and just clicked.
But now cops are ready to take off the kid gloves. The temperature inside of that interrogation room heats up.
You're hiding out.
I just found out about Jolene being missing yesterday. Honestly, though, I would never hurt her.
But it's time up for Jason G. Detectives see something that makes them wonder whether he had gone one step too far.
You got some scratches on your wrist and everything.
To me, they looked a lot like fingernail scratches, which really, really concerned me.
This is your opportunity here to clear your name, and you're acting like a jackass.
So things aren't looking so good for Jason G. But then, a new piece of evidence emerges that just deepens this mystery.
We want to know, who is that figure that walks across in the darkness?
Mother of three, Jolene Cummings, has seemingly vanished from her North Florida town, setting off alarm bells within the small community.
The hairdresser community was really just completely in shock. Watching Jolene's disappearance play out on TV, it was stressful.
She never showed up to pick up her kids yesterday on Mother's Day.
Cummings was last seen leaving work at the Tangles Hair Salon on Saturday around 5 p.m.
Florida's Nassau County Sheriff's investigators are racing against the clock to figure out what happened to the hairdresser. Remember, they've got her ex-boyfriend Jason G. under arrest in an unrelated case, and he's being interrogated.
When we find Jason G. and he's brought in for the interview, We're really looking at him as, this is probably our suspect.
You always want to give someone the benefit of a doubt just because of their history, but with everything involved, it just seemed like a pretty good suspect to look at the time.
Do me a favor, let me hold your hands up like this.
He had marks on his hands and his arms. To me, they looked a lot like fingernail scratches, which really, really concerned me.
You got some scratches on your wrist and everything. Tell me about those.
We had a dog I played with at the house.
They are really looking closely to see, could this have been a struggle with a person?
I got one on there from the dental branches at my dad's that happened like a week ago.
Detective Harrington asks about that alleged domestic violence incident and the disturbing scene at Jolene's home.
He stated that the last time he saw Jolene was when he was at the house and the altercation occurred.
And I went over there to see what was in the house. There was some cabinets broken, there was some holes and stuff. Did that happen that night?
I had slammed the cabinet shut when we was arguing.
And what about there was some holes in the door?
She actually took a hammer to the door. And we were arguing. That was 4 or 5 months ago.
During the interrogation, Jason G. tells the detectives that he lost his phone. Now that's a red flag for detectives. They're thinking, oh, come on, who doesn't have their phone with them all the time these days?
It's time for you to come clean and tell us what you did with it.
I didn't do nothing with it.
Then where's your phone?
It's at my cousin's or my dad's. Where I've been at.
Which one is it?
Jason G has an answer for why he doesn't have his cell phone, because he's actually been trying to run from police and doesn't want them to ping his phone because of that outstanding parole violation warrant.
I told you, the reason I was I didn't want to come to jail. Ever since I've had this warrant, I've had my battery taken out my phone. I had nothing to do with this. I've been fucking on with y'all. I told y'all can call my cousin and my dad, they will tell you where I've been at the past 3 days.
Jason G says that he has an alibi for where he was, and not just for the day that Jolene went missing, but the entire weekend.
He had stated he was having a barbecue down in North Jacksonville.
I went to sleep, I slept till about 10 or 11. We went back over there and hung out the rest of the day. They stayed there till Sunday. Sunday, I went home Sunday night.
Maybe Jason G. does come across as volatile, a little rough around the edges. But Detective Harrington notices that when G talks about Jolene, he's calmer. His voice softens.
I wouldn't hurt her. I wouldn't cause any harm or any discomfort to her. Well, I texted her later that night and tried to get hold of her. Then I texted her Sunday morning and told her Happy Mother's Day and Happy Birthday.
I gotta tell you, I'm not buying what you're telling me.
I know you ain't believing that. I said, I'm telling you the truth, man. I had nothing to do with Jolene being missing. I love her. I miss her. I want her to be okay.
He no way convinced me after the interview that he was innocent, but in the back of my mind, I did think he seemed like he really was concerned about Jolene's well-being and whereabouts.
Police take more pictures and then book G on the probation violation charge, but he's still only a suspect in Jolene's disappearance.
The Nassau County Sheriff's Office, they take the approach of getting the public involved. They start putting out the flyers with her picture on it.
Press release was stating that Jolene Cummings was missing. It also described her vehicle, a gold tan in color Ford Expedition with a tag number.
It was sent out to local news media. We just want to saturate the area.
Now at 11, a renewed push in the search for a missing local mother.
The Nassau County Sheriff's Department put out a Facebook post asking anyone with information about her whereabouts.
Investigators have put out a BOLO. Now that's cop speak for be on the lookout for. And guess what? One observant tipster calls in to say he thinks that he's seen an SUV just like Jolene's sitting in a local Home Depot parking lot.
The day after we put the BOLO out, I got a call from a citizen that thought he had seen it here in the parking lot. We responded here immediately and did determine by both tag and VIN that it was indeed Jolene's vehicle. One of the first things I noticed was that the driver's door was unlocked. All the other doors were locked. Just looking at it from outside, I didn't notice anything obvious. I didn't notice any blood, any damage. Once we located the vehicle outside the Home Depot, I instructed several detectives to start canvassing the area to see if there was any video surveillance.
There is a ViStar credit union that I had worked off duty at. I knew that their cameras faced in that direction.
That credit union surveillance camera captures investigative gold and leads to the second big break in the case.
When we looked at the camera angles, we determined that shortly after 1 a.m. on Sunday morning, the vehicle comes up the approach road off of State Road 200 from the direction of the salon and is immediately pulled into the parking area. You cannot see who's driving it at that point in time. And then you can see a figure emerge and walk across the screen towards the right.
Everyone is hoping that it's Jolene getting out of that car. Then, a minute later, a figure is visible in the doorway of a nearby convenience store.
It was kind of like that hair on the back of my neck stand-up moment, because I was like, this is who I'm looking for.
Hairdresser and mom Jolene Cummings has been missing for 3 days now, and Florida's Nassau County Sheriff's detectives are working several leads. One of them is Jolene's ex-boyfriend, Jason G., who tells police he's got an alibi. He says he was at a barbecue all weekend.
Jason told us where he had been and who he had been with, but his story checked out. He ultimately was cleared.
Now that Jolene's former boyfriend and her ex-husband are cleared, they're out of the picture, police are laser focused on that Home Depot parking lot footage. It's the shadowy image, a person emerging from the area near Jolene's SUV.
We want to know, who is that figure that walks across in the darkness?
Once Jolene's vehicle is discovered, police look through it to see if there are any clues as to her whereabouts.
Breaking developments in the case of a missing Nassau County mother last seen on Saturday when she left her job at a hair salon. Today, her vehicle found in the parking lot of a Home Depot.
Earlier that day, investigators visited Jolene's workplace, Tangle Salon, where one of her co-workers, they've been told, was the last person to see Jolene the night before Mother's Day.
You always want to know, in a missing persons case, the last person to see the victim, and that was an individual, a co-worker by the name of Jennifer Seibert.
Jennifer Seibert had been working at the Tangle's hair salon for a couple of months. Jennifer Seibert did come with this air of mystery.
And they didn't have a whole lot of background information on her, other than what was on her application.
What did you know of her?
I didn't know anything of her. She was just a newcomer.
Now, the very moment that investigators arrive at the salon to ask questions, Jennifer Seibert pulls up into the parking lot for her shift. But then, she does something rather suspicious.
When Miss Seibert learned that there was a detective there at the business, she immediately leaves the parking lot and does not come back and go to work.
At that moment, we're thinking, why would she not want to tell us anything about her coworker?
Yeah.
Why would she
honestly,
leave?
at the time, I think it was more of a red flag to you than me. It was kind of a red flag, but she kind of was like, that's really, really strange.
Jennifer Seibert even tells her boss to not bother to keep her check there, that she should just mail it to a forwarding address.
Seibert also sends a text with an explanation for why she bolted. She claims she was fearful of an ex-partner. She even writes, "My ex is terrible. When it comes to him, I fear for my life."
Jennifer Seibert was not eager to speak to us and left a long, rambling telephone message telling us why she wanted to help, but she couldn't be a part of this investigation, basically because her life was in danger.
From the moment that police see the vehicle of Jolene Cummings parked in that parking lot, they are canvassing the area. They really want to know who got out of that car when it was parked.
Once we observed the surveillance video of the person exiting, we could tell which direction they walked in. The only place that would have probably been open at that time would have been this convenience store. The first camera that I picked the person up on would have been here. And you could see them walk around the building just as I did. Then they walk down and they actually stop here for a minute and address the clerk that's standing outside on a break. And then they go ahead and enter the building.
The video from inside the convenience store is a big break. Who is it that walks in?
When I saw that, it was kind of like that hair on the back of my neck stand up moment because I was like, this is who I'm looking for.
The person who walks through the front door is Jennifer Seibert.
And she's dressed in all black, she's got on combat boots, and she seems really chatty with the attendant while she's there.
I conducted an interview with a store employee who was working there as well. There was a female that came into the store the other night, right here.
Yes, she said something about how she was out with a couple of friends drinking. When I tried to go back inside to go back to working, she wanted me to stay around.
He said that she was acting as if she was nervous or scared about something. She asked him to call a taxi cab for her.
We were able to capture video surveillance that actually shows the taxi cab pull up. It pulls into a spot just over here in front of the store. You could see her enter the vehicle in the front passenger seat, and you could see the cab pull away.
We were able to not only determine who the cab driver was, but interview him. What do you recall about that person?
She was dressed in like a black workout outfit. She had black hair, had it up in a bun on her head. She didn't appear to have a purse or anything with her.
What stood out to me and the cab driver was that Jennifer Seibert had stated that she had been out with friends that didn't have enough money for gas, but yet she had prepaid for the cab ride on a credit card.
I found that kind of odd because if a person's prepaying $20 on a credit card, they should be able to give somebody $5 worth of gas and get a ride.
The location that the cab driver was asked to take Jennifer Seibert was of interest to detectives because it wasn't exactly where she worked, the Tangle Salon, but it was in the same shopping center.
He dropped her off by a small black vehicle, which we knew that was what Jennifer Seibert owned and drove every day to work.
At that point in time, our number one priority is to find Jennifer Seibert, who is now purposely evading us.
But there's just one major problem. Police can't find Seibert. The address on her Tangle's job application isn't even real.
I went to that location, and what I discovered is that it is a non-existent address. It's a fake address. This is the fake address that Jennifer Seibert has given in her application for employment. Just nothing here. There's no residences, nothing. And it became apparent to me that this was something amiss.
Where is Jennifer Seibert? Investigators race to find her. Will they also find Jolene?
Cummings has not been seen since Mother's Day weekend, and investigative reporter Julia Janae joins us now with more. Julia?
Heather, that video that was released shows the missing SUV of Cummings being driven what appears to be Jennifer Seibert. So once they look at that video, who walks through the doors of Gate gas station but Jennifer Seibert? And she's dressed in all black.
But so far, police have had no luck tracking down the mysterious woman. Small hair salons are known to be warm, friendly places. But at Tangle's in northern Florida, the newest employee, Jennifer Seibert, didn't exactly fit in.
Everyone would talk with each other. It was just a very cozy, friendly environment to be in.
So all the hairdressers seemed to get along.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden there was a new woman.
So I never really got to know her well. She was kind of standoffish.
Within a few weeks of Jennifer being there, they started to notice things that they thought were off about Jennifer, just the way she acted. She could never really give an address of where she lived.
Jolene had a lot of concern about Jennifer Seibert's background. I did an interview with Ashley Nunley, who Jolene had styled her hair the day before she went missing.
She goes, because there's something just weird. Jolene says she started wearing wigs when she first started. Jolene says she was going to look up her name and figure out what the heck was going on with her.
Knowing Jolene, she's not going to leave something alone until she gets an answer that she can believe.
It turns out the questions about Jennifer Seibert's background, her behavior, also dogged her at a previous beauty salon where she worked in nearby Yulee.
She definitely had extremes in behavior. She would be so upbeat or
If she was mad, it was almost like seething mad. If she would get mad at a client, I would see her sit there and grip the back of the chair and like white knuckle it.
My stylists were complaining that they did not want to work with her. I did find a reason to fire her. She had all her stuff packed, leaving. So I followed her out the front door and asked her for the keys back, and she took them off her key ring and she threw them at me. That was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. 9 o'clock at night, she was still sitting in her car in the parking lot. That was a little bit creepy, and I actually did make sure that no one was following me home. She didn't follow me home.
The last known place that Jolene Cummings had been seen was Tangle's Hair Salon. We made a determination, we need to go back to the salon.
To the naked eye, there wasn't a whole lot out of place.
Traditionally, Jolene Cummings sat in the break room at the very back by the bathroom. I was looking with my flashlight at the edge of the sink, which was perfectly clean, and as I looked down, I saw what looked to me to be a dilute blood ring.
So we had our crime scene unit go back and do a forensic examination of the entire salon with what's called either Blue Star or luminol, which creates a chemical reaction with blood, and it will fluoresce or glow. Basically, the whole salon lit up. There was blood everywhere that was obviously had been cleaned up. You could see mop marks on the floor in blood.
Now the police have this disturbing discovery of the blood spatter inside of the salon. The search for Jennifer Seibert, it becomes much more urgent.
She basically went to number one on the radar that we got to find out where she is. We did have a phone number for her that was provided on her application, so we started pinging that phone. Started looking at like beach areas where they had the showers, rest stops, different places where somebody who might not have a permanent place to live might be.
On Wednesday, we got an updated ping that said that she was in a rest area in St. Johns County, roughly 35 miles south, closer to St. Augustine.
6 detectives and myself and the 2 FBI agents went to the northbound rest stop in St. Johns County.
The rest area was under construction, and it was just confusion. Dark, semis roaring around.
When I came to the rest area on the northbound side, I saw a black Kia Soul sitting between 2 semi-trucks. I called another detective and told him, hey, I believe this is Jennifer Seibert's car.
There was exhaust vapor coming out of the tailpipe of the vehicle, so I knew it was running.
I was a little worried about approaching the vehicle because I didn't know who was in the vehicle, if they had a weapon.
I had my flashlight. I then observed an individual who was laying down in the back of the vehicle get up and slither through the 2 front seats and drop into the driver's seat. I remember repeatedly stating, do not put the vehicle in drive. She had her driver's license ready. It was Jennifer Seibert.
Once Jennifer got out of the vehicle, I identified myself to her and told her that I was investigating Jolene's disappearance. She reiterated to me that she had no idea where Jolene was at. At that point in time, I asked her, I said, you've never been in her vehicle, you have no reason to drive her vehicle? And she answered no. I knew that she was lying to me because I had her on surveillance video parking Jolene's vehicle near the Home Depot in Yulee.
Detective Harrington is heading out to a local judge's home. He's got to get an arrest warrant for grand theft auto for Jolene's SUV. But somebody has to keep an eye on Jennifer Seibert to make sure she does not bolt.
My captain informed me, he says, I want you to keep her occupied. You are not to interrogate her, just talk to her. Where would you shower?
At the gym. I'm gonna take a break from body pump and just stick with the cycle classes for a while.
And the curious thing to me was she never once asked, what is this about? She never once asked, am I free to leave? Are mosquitoes a problem at rest areas?
Oh my goodness. When a mosquito bites me, it just takes probably almost an entire month for that one mosquito bite to heal.
But it's not mosquito bites on Seibert's face that are getting the attention of detectives.
She had claw marks on her face. She had Band-Aids on her face. It looked like to me that she had been in one hell of a fight.
Back at the station, she appears oddly relaxed and in a good mood when she's talking to officers, not the suspect of this intense missing person search.
She was very open, communicative, actually laughing, joking.
Those hurting you?
No, they feel great. You can put them on cider if you want. Whatever you want to do.
But nobody could have guessed what would turn up in Seibert's background and just how entangled her past was.
It was bigger than I imagined.
It was like flipping a switch.
This is a woman who was reported missing by her own mother decades before this happened in 2004.
I had 2 IDs at the time. I had myself and then my other ID.
And once detectives start digging into the background of this woman, they discover she's not at all who she claims to be on a number of levels. In fact, she had been using up to 18 different aliases and had lived in over 30 cities.
No one had any idea how truly just unhinged that she was.
And there's more surveillance video of Jennifer Seibert, but will it reveal the fate of missing hairstylist Jolene Cummings?
Do you think it was a conspiracy or a lone gunman?
To me, it's a much bigger story than the Kennedy murder.
Is this mystery ever going to get solved?
Who killed JFK? Monday night on ABC.
This was the most bizarre.
Very diabolic. Truly unhinged.
Watching Jolene's disappearance play out on TV was stressful.
Missing mother in Nassau County.
Jolene Cummings was dangerously close to discovering that Jennifer Seibert was not Jennifer Seibert.
Jolene said there's something going on with her. I'm gonna find out.
She had stolen the dead child's information and created a false identity.
She took that name out of the cemetery.
She had 17 different names. She lived in 14 states.
How do you even wrap your mind around that?
She was an angel one second and then getting in a fight with somebody the next.
Definitely not a normal thing for a person to go and buy a carving knife in the evening of a random Friday night.
My God, what is she up to?
You think she's done this before?
There is no doubt in my mind.
She's saying that she's Kimberly Kessler, but how do we know what the truth is?
Well, it was her birthday and it was Mother's Day. And I wanted her to be reminded that she was my special blessing on a Mother's Day, a gift that no other could compete. And then text her that Saturday and, hey, did you get the angel?
And that was the last text. Ann Johnson's daughter, 34-year-old Jolene Cummings, has been missing for 4 days now, and police have found no sign of the hairstylist. They've questioned and cleared both her ex-husband and former boyfriend in her disappearance.
Crime scene detectives went to Tango Salon to look a little closer.
You could see that there had been a struggle and smears of blood all over the salon.
Now we know there must have been a big fight in that salon.
You always want to know, in a missing persons case, the last person to see the victim, and that was a coworker by the name of Jennifer Seibert.
Jennifer Seibert became the focus of the investigation after she was spotted on surveillance footage, abandoning Jolene's vehicle in a parking lot and then walking into a convenience store to call for a taxi. Detectives managed to track her down and arrest her.
The charge you were arrested on is a grand theft auto charge. You knew that, correct?
Yes.
You're not charged with anything else, okay? But something happened to Jolene.
Right out of the gate, Jennifer Seibert sits down in this interrogation room and she drops this mind twister on detectives. She tells them that her name isn't actually Jennifer Seibert.
Fingerprints, they come up as Kimberly Lee Kessler, so I would prefer to be called Kim. The last time I got picked up was back in 1999 and I bonded out.
So you've actually kind of got you've got a history under that name?
I'm ready to go back to being myself. Kimberly Lee Kessler. It's kind of a silly middle name, isn't it? It's like my mom stuttered.
So right now we're taking in who is Kimberly Kessler at this point.
I'm 50 years old. My looks are deceiving.
You have children?
I do. I have a son. That's what got me running in 1999. Child Protective Services snatched him while I was at work from the babysitter, and that really sent me over the edge.
Then there's this next shocking moment where she tells detectives that she dated someone who was wanted by the FBI.
He robbed banks. I was working as a topless dancer, and he was with me whenever he called somebody and they said, the FBI is looking for you. And he's like, oh my God. And then he tells me everything. Oh, I robbed these banks. So I'm like, you what? And I hid him in my apartment, and that was like kind of almost the beginning.
She loved to brag about her past, and she was very proud of that.
She had been running for the past 20, 25 years and didn't want to be found.
It's a bombshell, but is it true?
Are you okay if I ask my crime analyst to run the name?
Do it, please. You'll see my mug. I'll look a lot younger then. And thinner, too. I won't be 200 pounds.
Well, it's unusual when someone that is a person of interest is just joking around, acting like nothing's wrong, nothing's going on. And
during the interview, I kind of wanted to let her talk as much as she wanted to, but at some point in time, I knew I had to ask her about Jolene.
Did you guys ever hang out after work? Did you ever go anywhere together? Okay. Is she ever allowed to use your car?
No.
Her demeanor changed. She became evasive.
You accused me the other night of, you're like, where's Jolene at? So, and I do not know where she is.
I think you know where Jolene is. We're gonna find out what happened. You can help me do that.
No, I cannot. Whatever fury may come. So let me reply this way, and you may not like the answer. I would like legal counsel.
With Jennifer Seibert now refusing to talk, it's up to investigators to determine fact from fiction.
Who is she really? I mean, she's saying that she's Kimberly Kessler, but how do we know what the truth is? I mean, she's obviously very complex.
When they researched her background, they found out she was actually someone who had been reported as a missing person decades before, in 2004, by her own mother in Butler, Pennsylvania.
So detectives call Connie Kessler, who they believe to be Kimberly's mother, hoping to learn more.
We do have someone that is claiming to be Kimberly Kessler, and that is your daughter, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
The last time I heard from her was in 2004, and it was on an answering machine. She'd been having trouble with her boss, and then there was no way to get back in touch with her, so all I could do is wait.
Detectives are quickly discovering that the woman they have in custody, claiming to be Kimberly Kessler, has used a host of different aliases over the years, seemingly random names. But Connie Kessler adds yet another twist to this increasingly strange story, explaining how her daughter had allegedly picked one of those names.
She went to visit her dad at a cemetery. She picked a name off from a little girl that died near her father.
Do you know the name she picked?
Yeah, it was Pamela Jean Cleaver.
she could be anybody. So we conducted a DNA test.
The FBI actually took a DNA out of Kimberly Kessler's mother's home, and it came back that it was a match, that she was Kimberly Kessler.
Well, if that's the case, then who exactly is Jennifer Seibert? And once again, Detective Rose discovers there was an absolutely chilling answer to that question.
Found a little girl named Jennifer Seibert who was 13 years old, who had been killed in a car accident in Germany. However, she was buried in Butler, Pennsylvania. And then NCIS confirmed the Social Security number of Jennifer Seibert. And that's when we realized
She had stolen the dead child's information and created a false identity.
The night when I told her you're under arrest for grand theft auto, she almost smiled as if to say, is that all?
Police are just scratching the surface in their search for a missing mom, and now they're about to dig up a tangled tale of chaos beyond what they could have ever imagined.
I saw something about stabbing you in the leg. Can you tell me about that?
In hindsight, I should have ran.
With Jolene Cummings still missing, police are learning more about the woman they've got in custody. Turns out her name isn't Jennifer Seibert, it's actually Kimberly Kessler. And the more they unravel, the more complicated her past becomes.
Come to find out, she had 17 different names. She lived in 14 states. Very unusual for someone to have that track record and is not running from something.
During the next couple weeks, I conducted several audio interviews.
And we had to try to figure out who we actually had in our jail. So we're just trying to get whatever information we can.
We discovered a husband. She had been married. When I spoke to him, he said, I met her in Arizona. She was stripping during that time.
Well, I can tell you she's a master of disguises. She wears a lot of wigs and changes her look a lot.
You know, she did wear a lot of wigs.
Did she?
She is very exotic.
He knew her as Melissa McKernan.
So I have Melissa tattooed across my chest.
So he was kind of shocked whenever we told him, hey, you know, this is not Melissa McKernan. Her true name is Kimberly Kessler.
Oh, no. I was like, he don't even have a real name on his chest.
But going back to the 1980s, Kimberly Kessler was just this small town girl living in Butler County, Pennsylvania.
Kimmy, you know, that's what they called her. Short-haired, tomboy, cute little young lady.
So you did know her?
I guess she knew me. She was good friends with a cousin of mine. The girls would all ride horses and that together. I met her a few times through the girls. I guess she had like a little schoolgirl crush on me or something.
She has a past with other people from high school.
Kim was a year behind me in high school. I was class of 85, she was class of 86. She was a cheerleader, you know.
Tom Sims hadn't seen her for years while he'd been in the Army. And then one day, their paths crossed again.
I stopped in the bar to have a beer and she was working. She was blonde and fit and beautiful. And we went out for drinks and, yeah.
They eventually end up dating and living together.
Can you tell me some more about her?
She's got a handful.
She wasn't a friendly person, always scheming. She was an angel one second and then getting in a fight with somebody the next.
Was that a normal thing for her, like acting out and being violent?
Yeah.
One of her moods got me with a steak knife.
I saw something about stabbing you in the leg.
No, she stabbed me in the chest. She bit my dad in the leg.
She bit your dad in the leg?
Yes.
She attacked him, bit him on the leg. Oh, you should have seen it. It was a huge bite mark.
It was the day after she hit me with the iron piece off the gas stove.
She grabbed off, you know, the burner and hit me upside the head with it. I think she already had her escape planned because she was gone after that. Gone.
Tom Sims says police came to the house for each violent incident. When Kessler stabbed him, when she bit his father, when she struck him with that iron grill. But he never pressed charges against her.
I probably should have. Young and naive.
But about a year later in 1990, Kessler was back, and she wants to catch up. Sims would later tell police about a troubling conversation that he says he had with her.
We had a cat. His name was Malcolm. That cat and I were very attached. She's the greatest cat in the world. I asked her, where's my cat? And she's like, well, I couldn't take take him with me, so I had to kill him.
Did she say how she did that?
She shot him with a shotgun.
I saw no empathy. I was absolutely sick to my stomach. And then she disappeared again.
Kessler has never responded to those allegations, but while Sims only knew her as Kimberly Kessler, there are plenty of others who knew her by entirely different names, including Sergeant Jim Walters back in Virginia Beach in 1999.
I knew it wasn't Christina Brooks that I was talking to, but that was the name she gave me.
It was a very bizarre situation in Virginia Beach. She lived with the father of her child, and a neighbor saw her digging in the yard with the kid in the hole, and she said it was a grave that she was digging, and she was acting very bizarrely. So the neighbor called the Child Welfare Services, and they came and took the child.
On August the 3rd, 1999, I received a call that there was a disorderly, suspicious person at social services, and we spoke real quickly, and I asked her to leave.
That's when we followed Christina Brooks out and stopped her on the other side of the bus stop.
Sergeant Walters says he's never forgotten what he says he discovered in her purse.
A Smith & Wesson .357 Magnum, a taser, and a roll of duct tape. We call it a kidnap kit.
Sergeant Walters arrests Christina Brooks for carrying a concealed weapon without a permit.
Found out later that she was released on her recognizance, and of course, gone. It gave me chills. My God, what is she up to?
Turns out she was up to a lot. Remember that childhood friend, David Trempis? By 2018, he was living in San Antonio when he says he got a message on Facebook from a woman in Florida.
I got a friend request from Mia Stone, and I accepted it.
She told David Trempis that she wanted to help him out. He was kind of going through a custody battle with his child.
She's real persistent. I told her, well, if I ever come down to Florida, I'd meet you. And the very next day, bam, she was here. She just got there overnight. That was kind of freaky in itself. I said, I'll meet you at the Whataburger in town. She come walking up, and she had that big black curly wig on, and it was, down over her eyes, and, it was just out of place. And she had a scar on her face.
David Trempis told police that Mia Stone claims she got the scar when her ex-husband tried to run her over. And now she wanted to move to Texas and marry Trempis.
But she wanted to move in with me. That's why she was up here. And I just kind of played it cool and said, it was great to meet you. And then, I got the hell out of there. It's time to go.
About a week later, Jolene Cummings goes missing. Not long after, Trempis says he got a call from the sheriff's office in Florida asking if he knew a woman named Mia Stone.
She also goes by the name, there's like 18 names, Mia Stone, Jennifer Seibert. Her true name is Kimberly Kessler.
That girl's name is really Kim Kessler?
Yes, sir.
She never let on to that. Her real name was Kim Kessler.
So investigators are left to wonder, had Jolene figured out Kessler's grand deception?
No one had any idea how truly evil she was.
And had Kessler retaliated by doing the unthinkable? When Jennifer Seibert first arrived in Fernandina Beach in 2018, no one had a clue about her trail of chaos and red flags over the years.
Let me tell you what, Jolene was very inquisitive, very intuitive, and when she said someone's fake, it's like, you're putting on an act, or you're not who you say you are.
So was Jolene on the verge of discovering the real story about the woman now known as Kimberly Kessler?
I believe 100% that Jolene was going to check to see who she was.
Investigators uncovered text messages Jolene had sent about the new employee, suggesting there was something off about her that she couldn't quite put her finger on. Did you get a vibe between the two of them when she was in the salon?
Yeah, Kimberly was kind of standoffish, and there was definitely some tension between them.
Well, the theory is that Jolene Cummings was dangerously close to discovering, number one, that Jennifer Seibert was not Jennifer Seibert, and number two, who she might really be.
Towards the end, it had gotten contentious to the point that they would yell at one another in front of clients. And there had been a fight in particular where the argument ended and Jolene looked at her client and said, "There's something going on with her. I'm gonna find out."
I think that pushed Kim Kessler, Jennifer Seibert over the edge.
Just stand up and bend over a little bit for me.
With Kessler in custody, detectives begin searching her phone.
Her phone was definitely an insight into where her mind was, leading up to the moment that Jolene went missing. Jolene goes missing on May 12th. We see Kimberly Kessler's search history starts to shift from recipes and stores and the normal things to how long does it take for a body to decay? How to hide the evidence of a crime.
It was very weird what she was searching. You know, no body, no crime. How to dismember a body.
No one had any idea how truly evil she was, how truly unhinged that she was.
We're here in the alley behind Tangle's Hair Salon, or what used to be Tangle's Hair Salon. This was the back door to the salon.
And it's in that alley where detectives find another huge clue.
We have video surveillance from two different sources, and the dumpster behind us is visible in several of those videos.
The surveillance video shows Kimberly Kessler taking numerous large trash bags that are pretty full and pretty heavy based on the way that she's got to swing them into the dumpster behind the salon.
Our duties were not to carry out the trash, which was picked up Monday mornings. So it was unusual that after hours she would still be here.
Once detectives start piecing things together from inside of the Tangle salon and looking at the alley outside, they start to develop a theory that Jolene Cummings may have been dismembered and discarded in that very dumpster.
They processed the whole place, and there was so much blood there that nobody was going to survive that.
Investigators scan that surveillance tape, hoping for more clues, and boy, did they get one. They see Kessler driving by Tangle's as though she's checking to see if the dumpsters had been emptied.
We discovered that the local waste company had actually picked up the dumpster for disposal. And at this point, she no longer drove by.
Police learned that the contents were taken to a landfill in Georgia, about 25 miles away from Nassau County.
The FBI took the lead on actually searching the landfill.
The FBI Jacksonville team's been working around the clock in support.
This landfill is absolutely enormous. We knew it was going to be a needle in a haystack, but we knew we had to try to search and see what evidence or if Jolene herself was in that dump. It was 117 degrees, so it was miserable, but you know, had to be done.
It was gut-wrenching. I mean, I was in tears to know that you could be thrown away like trash when you were an amazing person.
But after nearly a week of combing through the landfill in scorching temperatures every day with no positive results, law enforcement called off the search.
Sheriff Leifer, he didn't have to say anything. His face said it all. It was a face of disappointment, of grief that we didn't find her.
Inside, this had to just be your worst nightmare.
It's a nightmare that no parent, no one that has a loved one should ever have to endure. The not knowing was the worst.
Despite not having a body or finding the remains of Jolene Cummings, the state attorney's office decides they are going forward with charges of murder against Kimberly Kessler, along with grand theft auto.
At the point that I'm coming into the case, I am focused on justice for Jolene.
With prosecutors now preparing to try Kimberly Kessler for first-degree murder, she's going to undergo yet another transformation.
Jordan Beard is Jolene Cummings' cousin.
And with behavior like that, is she actually fit to stand trial for Jolene's murder?
Kimberly Kessler has been charged with the murder of Jolene Cummings. And while she's being held, let's just say she isn't exactly a model inmate.
So Jennifer Seibert was brought here, and she's booked and held in this area. What was she like as an inmate?
She was hateful, mean. She did not like us. She would do the craziest things. She actually ripped her smock off and completely got naked, started smearing feces all over herself, and it just went from there. She then decided it was a great idea to throw it at us. So we were in there dunking, diving, trying to get away from it.
At a point in time during her incarceration, she began a hunger strike. Went from 170 pounds to down around 80 pounds.
But her bizarre behavior didn't stop there.
Jordan Beard is Jolene Cummings' cousin.
At pretrial hearings, Kessler would disrupt the proceedings, yelling about her representation, yelling about her treatment in jail.
Jordan Beard is Jolene Cummings' cousin.
Her contention was that one of her defense attorneys was cousins with Jolene Cummings.
Jordan Beard is Jolene's cousin.
But Judge James H. Daniel rules that this is false.
There was no relationship between Jordan Beard and Jolene Cummings or anyone in Jolene Cummings' family.
Kimberly Kessler now has to watch the proceedings on a video feed from jail. And because of all that seemingly unhinged behavior, she's declared mentally incompetent to stand trial.
We had the hearing to determine whether she was mentally competent to proceed to a trial. And we presented evidence to show that she was delusional, she was mentally ill.
Kimberly Kessler had a lot of strange tendencies, and prosecutors did not believe it. They felt that she was putting on an act in order to avoid having to face the charges against her.
I actually went over there one day while she's not eating, and I wanted to talk to her, and I determined right then that she was putting on an act, trying to let everybody think she's crazy.
As time goes by, more hearings are held to make a determination as to whether Kimberly Kessler is competent to stand trial.
A judge is now weighing whether murder suspect Kimberly Kessler is mentally competent and whether she'll need to be force-fed.
At these hearings for competency, there was a psychiatrist who testified as to whether or not Kimberly Kessler could be a part of her defense and ultimately be competent to stand trial.
And you have found Ms. Kessler intelligent and strategic. Some of the things that she does are very intentional. What I mean is that her behavior is something that is thought out and organized.
Even Kessler's jailers were brought to the stand to say that they believed she was completely rational.
Was Ms. Kessler capable of communicating her thoughts and her needs to you? Yes, ma'am.
A high-profile murder suspect is competent to stand trial. That's according to doctors at a Florida hospital.
I felt like she was choosing to do this for whatever reason, and it was not the product of some mental health disorder.
Finally, after 3 long years, Jolene Cummings' family is in the courtroom, about to get their chance at justice.
Kimberly Kessler, a former co-worker of missing Nassau County mother Jolene Cummings, is charged with first-degree premeditated murder.
The trial was very much anticipated. Jolene's mother was very popular. She knew a lot of people, and a lot of people supported her. And it was a very tragic and traumatic situation for her. And the news covered it pretty relentlessly.
just as this trial begins, it's almost immediate that Kimberly Kessler starts having her typical outbursts in the courtroom.
I refuse the public defender's office. They appointed Jordan Beard, Jolene Fleming's cousin, as my public defender. They appointed Jolene Fleming's cousin as my public defender. What, you don't want the public to know that?
She will be downstairs as she's been through the proceedings thus far.
There are critical stages in a proceeding where the defendant has to be present. Trial would be certainly one of them. However, it's also my job to make sure that the state has the ability to prosecute a case.
The judge decides to excuse Kimberly Kessler from the proceedings, and now there's the opportunity for the state to actually get started with their opening statement.
The following evidence will establish premeditation beyond a reasonable doubt. Premeditation that the defendant planned Jolene Cummings' death. As Jolene Cummings made plans for the next day of her life, the defendant had planned Jolene's death.
Prosecutors are about to present the heart of what they insist is a pre-planned murder case. Video of a shopping trip, and what Kessler is buying will chill you to the bone.
Live at the Nassau County Courthouse, Janice, Cummings' body was never found, but the state still plans to try and prove that case.
The prosecution begins laying out their case, and it relies heavily on circumstantial evidence and surveillance video.
CSU used luminol to find evidence of the defendant's cleanup of Jolene Cummings' blood. The luminol will flow blue to indicate the presence of blood. You will see the evidence of blood from the stylist chair mat nearest the reception desk, through the salon, to the restroom near the back door.
Prosecutors argue that after spending hours cleaning the bloody crime scene, Kimberly Kessler, known at the time as Jennifer Seibert, went to Walmart to buy a set of items that paint a truly macabre picture.
The Walmart video and receipt, which are evidence that at 8:57 p.m., the defendant used her credit card.
There is an overhead shot of Jennifer Seibert in this dark shirt, her hair pulled up into this bun. And what's most interesting is that you can see specifically what Jennifer Seibert is scanning. She's scanning a large bottle of ammonia. She's scanning rubber gloves. She's scanning a large box of outdoor style trash bags. And she's scanning an electric carving knife.
This is not Thanksgiving. What is she buying this knife for? And I'm like, oh my God, she dismembered her.
Prosecutors say that this evidence ties into what they found behind the Tangles salon.
What are we looking at here?
That is Kimberly Kessler. She was not for the already found.
In my opinion, Jolene was dismembered in that salon. Her body was then disposed of through trash bags, through different things that Kimberly Kessler ended up throwing in her dumpster.
Prosecutors allege that there was this blue storage bin. And inside of that bin, there was even more crucial evidence.
Later on, she can be seen taking a blue Rubbermaid out. Ultimately, that tub was found by detectives, and inside of that was Jolene's blood as well as a fingernail.
Why would Kessler kill Jolene? Well, prosecutors believe it was because Jolene was on to Kessler's games. In fact, a Tangles employee took the stand with some telling testimony, what she heard on the day of the murder.
Do you remember Jolene Cummings telling the defendant, "You're fake"?
You fake, yes. I remember scolding you fake for away. I like you.
Jennifer Seibert didn't want to be found out as Kimberly Kessler. That's what it appeared, based on the timing of the comment that Jolene made and when this murder happens.
Morning.
But the defense insists there is no evidence of premeditation in this case, and that's what's required for a first-degree murder conviction.
I certainly submit to you that that is evidence of conflict, of violent conflict. But what the state cannot offer you, what they have absolutely no proof of, are the questions that you need to decide this case. Who started the fight?
There's nothing to counter the theory that this had been a mutual combat, a fight. I mean, a physical fight between two women that ended up in one of the women dying. And that's just not first-degree murder.
The prosecution believed that they had, beyond a reasonable doubt, enough evidence to prove that this was first-degree murder.
We can see from her words, her internet searches, she had spent at least a couple of weeks so far premeditating the death of Jolene Cummings. From her internet searches, it's obvious that she intended to kill her. That's all the evidence you need to find the defendant's premeditation beyond a reasonable doubt.
With closing arguments done, Kimberly Kessler's fate rests in the hands of the jury.
Breaking at noon, the jury has been dismissed to begin deliberations in the murder trial of Kimberly Kessler.
It had been about 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours, and we got a call that said the jury's back with a verdict.
All right, everybody please have a seat. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Madam Clerk, will you please publish the verdicts?
Stanford versus Kimberly Kessler, aka Jennifer Marie Stivert. Verdict count 1, first-degree murder. We, the jury, found the defendant guilty of first-degree murder as charged in the indictment.
I think Anne was relieved. It brought her some closure. It was an emotional moment.
It's been a long 3 years. We miss Jolene every second of the day.
Jolene's family feels they finally found justice. But with Kimberly Kessler's trail of deception and mayhem, police have a lingering question. Could there be more victims out there?
I believe she's running from something.
It's a tale of two women, Jolene Cummings, hairdresser and mom, who disappeared on Mother's Day, never to be found. And Kimberly Kessler, also a mom, who spent years crafting multiple identities and was convicted of murdering Jolene. Now, Kessler is about to be sentenced.
Jordan Beard is Jolene Cummings' cousin.
And like so many times at trial, Kimberly Kessler disrupts the proceedings and is taken out of the courtroom. Before handing down his sentence, the judge hears a victim impact statement from Jolene's mom, Ann Johnson.
When my precious daughter was murdered, others died. I felt his struggle to make some sort of semblance of life ever since.
This court will adjudicate Kimberly Kessler, also known as Jennifer Marie Stivert, guilty, sentence her to life in prison.
She's also sentenced to 5 years for grand theft auto of Jolene's vehicle, which she'll serve concurrently.
Kimberly Kessler leaving the Nassau County Jail in this white van. A deputy was seen doing a rock-on hand gesture before her departure Friday morning.
We're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate her homegoing, because her new home for the rest of her life and until she takes her last breath is going to be Florida State Prison.
What was it like for all of you when she finally was transferred after her guilty verdict?
Oh my goodness. We were so happy that she was gone. She ended up getting shipped out to prison quite quickly afterwards. We did celebrate. We had a cake. There's a picture of us.
Are you relieved that this chapter's over?
Absolutely. I'd never want to have to deal with that woman again.
With all of the strange happenings that seem to surround Kimberly Kessler, there's this notion among some that is there some other unsolved case out there?
With the information that we obtained, the number of aliases, the number of cities, the number of states, I believe she's running from something.
That's going to be law enforcement's job, to follow up and to see if there were other people that could have been victimized by Kimberly Kessler. There could always be a new connection to something that wasn't seen before.
Remember Sergeant Jim Walters, who knew Kessler as Christina Brooke back in Virginia Beach? He recently handed over information about her to cold case investigators there.
I told the deputy chief the information that I had on Kimberly Kessler, and he said, I've got 4 or 5 unsolved homicides around that area, around that time. The cold case squad would be really interested in this information.
As investigators keep an eye out for other cases that could possibly be linked to Kessler, Jolene's mom, Ann Johnson, is focused on her daughter's memory. Will you continue to want to search for Jolene?
Oh, I'll always have the hope to search for Jolene.
Occasionally, we will get calls for unidentified remains. And anytime we get that kind of call, I always have hopes that maybe it might be her.
What is the world missing not having her in it?
She was beautiful inside and out. And again, she was first and foremost a mom. And she was a great, great friend, great listener.
How do you want her to be remembered?
As the bright, shining star that she was.
Lord, guide us in these next few moments. In Jesus' name.
I had a private ceremony. It was a beautiful, small service.
Even with no remains to bury, Jolene's loved ones remember her to the tune of Amazing Grace.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound.
There was music at the gravesite. There was a headstone. And then my grandson asked me, Emma, why is there a headstone when Mama's not there? I said, this marks that your mother lived here on earth, that she needs to be remembered. And who knows, God's will, maybe we'll have something to put there. It's the only thing we have to live for, right? It's the hope. Without hope, what do we have?
Jolene's mom, Ann, telling me, David, that she hasn't given up on the hope of possibly finding her daughter's remains with the hope of having a true burial after all these years.
Let's hope for her. Kimberly Kessler has filed 2 appeals since her murder conviction. Both were denied. Her life sentence carries no possibility of parole. That is our program for tonight. Thanks for watching. I'm David Muir.
And I'm Deborah Roberts. From all of us at 2020 and ABC News, good night.